Man, it is a tough last couple of days. And just one moment. Hey, what's up, Bill?
Hey, how's it going?
Man, I'm just saying, man. These last couple of days have been tough as hell. And I don't know if you saw the news today about the Rock and Roll Express.
Dennis
Uh,
Condrey.
Dennis Condrey. Yeah. What is it about celebrities? Like, in all honesty, like you always hear the joke about, oh, celebrities die in threes, but it is 100% accurate. Every single time, without fail, you always see this, and it's a pain in the ass. Um, I was doing my live stream with Kirk yesterday. While we were on the Hasbro Series 10, and somebody put in the comments that Chuck Norris had died.
Mm-hmm.
And I gotta be honest, man. Like I was that close. Like I was choking up. I almost teared up, man. That hit me hard. Now, am I like one of those guys who are like the biggest, Chuck Norris fans in the world? No, but like Chuck Norris, he is one of those guys like he's like there, He's been a consistent actor in your life and whatnot. And he also played in one of my favorite movies of all time, Sidekick.
Oh, okay.
And that, like I said, am I saying that Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Texas Walker,
That'd be a different movie with him in it.
Walker Texas Ranger? Am I saying that was like the most awe-inspiring TV show ever? No, but like, again, it's one of those shows that was there. It's like Law and Order. It's one of those shows that you never really paid much attention to, but it was always on. It was always there, right? So like it was always in the background, maybe your mom had it on or something, and it was just something that you kind of gravitate towards or kind of watch and knew something about because later on that night I got the news that Buffy actor Nicholas Brendon died.
So he was number 2.
Yeah, and I think he was number 2, and I think
He's probably the
Condrey.
He's probably the bigger. I mean, so yeah, it's sad that Chuck's gone, but I think he lived to 86. So, I mean, and I think he was still in good shape in the end. I don't know for sure, but so there's a way time to go. Unfortunately for him, and yeah, that was the time. But I think what was he like 54 or 53 or something like that? He was like
Nicholas Brendon, 54, and there was
that's
and
young.
what I've been. And what bothers me about his passing, there's so many issues, so many problems I hate. But I follow these different Buffyverse
Okay.
Facebook groups and whatnot, right? And people are always trying to ship Xander and Buffy.
Oh.
And I'm like, hell yeah!
Skip 'em.
I was one of those major Buffy Xander fandom people. I always wanted to push them together. But it always bothered me that freaking Angel was always in the way, even to the very end. Even at the end, when I was shipping Spike and Buffy, I still kind of wanted to see Xander end up with Buffy. That was always like my favorite relationship that I wanted to see happen. I mean, over the years, yeah, you kind of like the Cordelia Xander relationship, you like the Anya Xander relationship, but I wanted to see that. And Mustard, I'll get back to you, man. I'm just gonna before I kind of lose this thought process, man. But you always see people not being able to separate the actor from his portrayal of this character. And he became an alcoholic later on in life. Maybe he abused prescription medicine or something. I know he was an alcoholic. That was like a major issue. I don't know if he was like if he got into any physical altercations with his girlfriend or anything like that. But
I heard that too, unfortunately. Yeah.
But I definitely know that he was a major alcoholic, and you see him like later on, I think on like Criminal Minds or something. Like he looked like he was in really rough shape.
Was he on a Criminal Minds? I might remember that because I watched Criminal Minds more than Buffy. I have to go back and okay.
Yeah, he had like he was dating, I guess, one of the main leads or something, like an arc for like 2 or 3 episodes.
Was he playing the lady who was a hacker? Was that him? Was he a
maybe?
hacker?
I mean,
I go back.
I never watched Criminal Minds myself. I just know that he had an arc on the series
because he looked a little bigger and of course older, and I didn't watch Buffy enough to put 2 and 2 together. Okay.
Yeah. But like I've always been a huge Nicholas Brendon fan, and of course, people they hate Nicholas Brendon because of his mental or problems or whatever, because of his alcoholism and yada yada yada. But like, or they hate him because, oh well, on this TV show he was an asshole to Cordelia because he cheated on her with Willow, or he was an asshole because he left Anya at the altar or something.
But that was
Even
the
though he left
script,
her.
right? That was the story. He's supposed to do that, right?
Exactly, and
It
the
wasn't
point is,
him.
he left Anya at the altar because he saw
Oh,
his future where he was going to hurt her,
oh,
and he basically left her for her own protection.
mhm.
So he was doing her a solid by doing so. Um, he didn't leave her because he fell out of love with her or anything out of anything spiteful, right? So
I don't know if Buffy counts as a soap opera. My
no,
story.
go God no. But you can never call Buffy the Vampire a soap opera. I mean, it's a supernatural sci-fi series, so no.
Buff. Buffy. I can't type. I put Buff. Buff Bagwell, the Vampire Slayer. The sequel. No, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. That's close.
But
I like the idea of Buffy.
and now that he's passed, like there are still people going on these sites still kind of talking crap on him. I'm like, Jesus Christ, even in death, like this man can't catch a break.
Yeah. I feel bad because it sounds like he had a congenital heart problem. You have the drinking and apparently maybe some domestic violence. I don't know about that, but he's only like 53, 54, 52, something like that.
Well, I mean, I've talked about the relationship because Buffy the Vampire Slayer is my all-time favorite show, and I could literally do an entire podcast just talking Buffyverse,
pretty much every
talking
show is
Buffy
about.
Moonville, man.
Pretty much every show is about relationships. I don't know if you've ever watched any comedies. I mean, the procedural ones that are week to week, even Criminal Minds and stuff, are harder to do that because a lot of times it is about the story. But I mean, the relationships develop as they fight crime and stuff like that, or fight supernatural entities. I guess in the case of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Well, you really talk about the people that are giving this fella crap about what he acted in a TV show. Right? He was just playing his part that was written for him. It is funny because I wonder if like some of those terrible characters, like with Big Bang Theory, Sheldon, and those types, does he get crap in real life for being a jerk? I'm like, well, he was acting the part of a character, right? But if that's all you know them as, oh, I know, him as Sheldon. You walk up to him and tell him, hey, you're a jerk. I'm like, wow, he was supposed to be. That's what the script called for.
But he was like this brilliant autistic character, and I think everyone just thought he was like this really fun, weird character. And he played that role to perfection.
Right,
so
yeah.
I give Jim Parsons a lot of credit for
he did, yeah.
Big Bang Theory.
But I wonder if he gets any credit for being Sheldon. Well, that was always called for. He's supposed to be. I think he's a nice person in real life, so it must be. And there's a non-zero amount of people who can't separate the art from the artist in that case. Like he was acting a part. I mean, because even I watch it sometimes. They would write it particularly nasty. Sheldon was particularly abusive or jerky, and even I would get into like, oh my gosh, that's terrible. That's over the top. I'd smack him. You're like, no, they just really wrote him well that episode, right? To be a jerk or whatever the story called for. And that show was about relationships, right? They all kind of coupled at the end, except for Raj. Even Sheldon got married with what's her face, Amy. So
me and Balak, yep, Amy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's her name. Yeah. So they all coupled up, right, for the most part, or about uncoupling. Because I think there was a last plot where Raj was thinking about leaving to marry that one lady who was moving to England or something like that, and luckily he didn't. He needed to be coupled up in the end, but they didn't. They ran out of time. But even that was about relationships or potential relationships. But I just don't know Buffy real well because I only saw the movie. I didn't really watch the TV show. I think I watched what was the follow on? Because it was it a sequel or same universe with David
Angel?
Dennis? Yeah.
Yeah.
Angel, a bit of that. But really, I've seen him more in like what was the show he was in with the Bone lady? Bones. That was really the first show I really watched him heavily in as the FBI agent. I think he was.
I mean, up until SEAL came out, SEAL Team.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen that.
I mean, every single show that he was on, like his shows kept lasting longer and longer. Like he was on Buffy for 3 seasons, and then he switched to Angel, which is still a Buffyverse, spinoff, 5 seasons, and then he went to Bones for like 12 seasons.
Yep, ran for a while.
So he kept going up and up with each new series, and then SEAL Team I think lasted 5 or 6 years. But I mean, that show could have gone 15 years if you wanted to. But I mean, how long are you going to keep a 50-something-year-old special forces operator on that type of show?
Because you're saying 3, 5 would be 8, 12 would be 20. 25, 26 or so, that's just seasons of TV that he would have done. So even if he would have started at 24, he'd been 50. I don't know when he started Buffy, but yeah, that's a lot of TV shows.
Yeah, I just think he was like 27 when he started Buffy in season
Yeah,
1.
so there you go. I mean, so you're talking well into the 50s just for those TV shows. A lot of good success. I wonder what residuals he gets then if he can now pick and choose. Or maybe he picked and choose when he got Seal. I don't know. Maybe he likes doing TV shows because I think TV shows sometimes are harder. I don't know than acting than movies. Right? Movie. Of course, I guess a movie you're kind of sequestered for. I don't know. Actually, being curious to talk to those folks about. I've heard depending on the TV show, it can be hard. You have to produce
I mean,
20 episodes or whatever, and your weekly.
it really depends on who you are, but I mean, some people are known as TV actors, and some people are strictly movie actors. Like, I don't think I've ever seen a Julia Roberts, and I could be wrong, but I don't think I've ever seen Julia Roberts in a TV show.
None that comes to mind. I know Tom Hanks started there, but it would be weird to see. What has Tom Hanks been in? It was kind of weird. I guess it was a TV show. Harrison Ford was in one of the Yellowstone universe TV shows for a couple seasons, and Helen Mirren was his wife. That was kind of weird, but you got over it. I mean, because it doesn't feel like a TV show, right? When it's an 8 or 10 episode streaming only show on Paramount or HBO, wherever it was. I mean, it feels different than the 20 some episodes of Law and Order every year, or 20 some episodes of Big Bang or Buffy or whatever you're watching.
Like Sandra Bullock, that's another one. I don't remember seeing Sandra Bullock in any TV shows.
I don't think so.
Like,
First time I ever saw
certain,
was Demolition Man, and that was a movie.
I think like there's certain actors out there that just don't appear in TV. Maybe it's like beneath them or something. Once you hit a certain level.
At least it used to be that I think you wanted to work your way from TV to movies, and I don't know because maybe you got paid more per movie, and then you could just do like one movie a year. So there's probably some quality of life things maybe. Because I have heard some of those TV shows, the standard, ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox broadcast ones that you have to produce 24 episodes a year or something that can kind of drag out. But anymore, like you're doing 8 or 10 or 13 episodes on streaming, it's maybe not as big a deal anymore.
Poltergeist: The Legacy, when they used to air on HBO,
that was right? That was a TV show, wasn't it? Poltergeist: The Legacy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I never saw that. Is it? How many is it still on HBO? Can I catch up? I wonder. I never looked for it.
No, that was back in the 90s, late 90s.
I wonder if it's streaming anymore.
I remember Poltergeist: The Legacy, and
never watched.
What else you put on HBO? No, if it wasn't HBO, it may have been Showtime. Yeah. But one of those two networks, or maybe like Poltergeist: The Legacy aired on HBO, and then on Showtime it was. Hey, Spring, you remember what the other TV show was? It was Poltergeist: The Legacy, and there was something else that was similar to it.
On what?
So Poltergeist: The Legacy.
Nope.
Late 90s, something that aired similar to that.
I wouldn't say it's similar, but I remember Tales from the Crypt on HBO.
No,
but it's not similar. I just remember.
No, there's another TV show that aired around the exact same time, but
because the Crypt Keeper was so funny. Tales from the Crypt.
It sucks because I used to record absolutely everything, and when I said I record everything, man, like I like for Buffy, Dawson's Creek, Felicity, like basically any TV show, I would sit there and I would pause that sucker the second the screen turned black. So once it goes on commercial, bam, it pause. The second it went off commercial, the screen turned black, bam, hit pause again, which would automatically record it because it's already paused, right?
Okay.
So it would be like you went to the store and bought the tape because there would be no commercials on there. It would just be straight episode. And on a blank tape, you put it on an EP, you get 6 hours of record time. So I could fit like 8 episodes of Buffy on a single blank VHS tape, and you would still have room left over, like maybe another half hour or so. So I'd go on to like the box or something like that, and or MTV or something like that, VH1, and record like music videos, and have that like finish up last 20 or 30 minutes of record time.
Mustard mentions Dawson. Yeah, so kids nowadays have no idea about that strategizing and stuff and VCRs and stuff. But mentioning celebrities died, that wasn't that long ago when James Vanderbeek died. He was in Dawson's Creek, wasn't he? And then Eric Dane, which I didn't see in a bunch of stuff, but I think he was in Grey's Anatomy. He was one of the McSteamy doctors. I remember seeing him in The Last Ship. That was the only thing I saw him in. But I think he passed away from ALS. Was there a third back then, too? That was like February, I think. I don't remember.
Well, I guess I'm a 13-year-old girl then, man. Given the fact that
About
that Dawson's Creek came out in January of '98, and I would have been 12 years old in January of '98, and the WB was like the go-to station. I mean, what else was a 12-year-old supposed to be watching? Hell, I didn't even turn 13 until like the next month of '98. So,
that'd been perfect.
And yeah, I mean, WB, like that's all that I watched. I watched everything on the WB, and hi baby, and I would switch over to like TGIF on Fridays. On Friday nights, I would watch like Poltergeist the Legacy, like what was shown earlier. Stargate SG-1 would air on Showtime, so I'd watch that. There's something else that aired on freaking Fridays. It drove me nuts. I can't remember what the hell this damn TV show was, but it'll come to me eventually, man. Sundays you switch over to Fox and you'd watch The Simpsons and Malcolm in the Middle, shows like that. So, I did pull out a drink tonight because.
Oh, you do have. I wondered. I saw you passing around the bottle.
I mean, I'm not gonna drink a whole lot, just enough to kind of give a little drink for those who passed. So, cheers to those guys.
Loverboy, Dennis Condrey.
Oh.
Yeah, I think he passed overnight or something. Because I remember seeing it on Reddit or somewhere. One of the Cornet feeds posted while I was still up. Somebody's a big Heather O'Rourke fan. She passed away, but a long time ago.
Yeah, she died when she was like, what, 12?
I don't remember what it was. It sounded like it's some routine physical ailment. Maybe they didn't catch in time or something. I can't remember. I think actually the original Poltergeist had some kind of issue with the kids or something. Either dying or getting hurt or something. I can't remember what it was. One of those internet rabbit holes years ago.
Well, I think Heather O'Rourke died from a car accident.
Oh, I thought it was. Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else. What is that?
I could be wrong, but I'm almost 95% sure that's what happened. She died from a car accident.
Guess that would still be sad. Oh, died February 1st. Oh, no, yeah, date of death, February 1st, 1988. So it was about this time, 88. Life, acting career, illness and death. Became ill with giardiasis, which she contracted from well water at her family's home in Big Bear Lake. She was subsequently diagnosed as having Crohn's disease. She was prescribed cortisone injections to treat the disease during the time she was filming Poltergeist 3. The steroidal injections resulted in facial swelling of the cheeks, which O'Rourke's mother said she was very self-conscious about. I think I remember that.
Does it say how she died?
Congenital stenosis of the intestine, complicated by septic shock. I'm not sure. So septic, that would be like bacteria in the bloodstream. Congenital stenosis. En route, she suffered cardiac arrest. Okay, so on January 31st, she began exhibiting flu-like symptoms. Following morning, she collapsed in her home and was rushed to a community hospital. En route, she suffered cardiac arrest, but paramedics were able to restart her heart at 9:25 a.m. She was flown to the Children's Hospital San Diego, where it was discovered she had intestinal stenosis. Is the abnormal narrowing of a blood vessel or other tubular organ or structure. Okay. That must have caused a cardiac arrest, maybe. Went to emergency surgery. She survived the surgery, but suffered another cardiac arrest, 2 heart attacks. Holy cow. While in the recovery room, doctors performed CPR for over 30 minutes, but she was pronounced dead at 2:43 that afternoon. So they said it was congenital stenosis of the intestine. So some, what did they call that again? It was a abnormal narrowing of a blood vessel. Complicated septic shock. Well, she had surgery, so that could lead to bacteria in the bloodstream. But so it was some kind of So it wasn't cardiac arrest. I don't know what this giardiasis is. What is that?
So who the hell is the actress from the movie that freaking died of a car accident? I'm almost positive. I thought it was Heather O'Rourke that died of a car accident.
Might have been one of the other kids. Who was Oliver Robbins? Beatrice Straight is a doctor. Joe Beth and Craig T. Nelson. Okay. Dominic Dunn. Yeah. Okay. Early life and education, career. Son was an animal lover. Death. So if you restricted. No, she was strangled. So one of the kids was strangled by their husband, by their lover. Yeah, so there's a few poltergeist deaths. I'm wondering if maybe it's one of the other poltergeist 2s or something. Somebody got in a car accident, but wow. But yeah, anyway. So that'll brighten things up on it.
Yeah, that's a bad legacy right there. I mean, a fantastic freaking movie, but god dang, the legacy of that movie is horrible.
Yeah, it's yeah, that was all in
Hey,
Wikipedia.
Poltergeist Legacy.
There you go. Yeah, and that was all
I just tied
Wikipedia.
that in.
Yeah, when you said it, I thought of the TV show. I'm like, that's gonna. I don't know if they meant that. They probably didn't. I never saw the TV show though. Probably because the first movie scared me so. And then I want to say the second movie was okay, if I remember correctly, and the third movie's kind of goofy. I can't remember.
Well, the third one was where she was in the high rise, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then the kids come out of like the frozen pool and whatnot. See, I remember that one beautifully.
Was that your favorite? I definitely the first one was a good one.
I mean, I would say number one probably, but I mean, I've seen all three of the originals multiple times throughout my life. Like, I don't have the best recollection of them because it's been a million years since I've seen them, but I mean, I know I remember them enough.
82, 86, and 88. 82, I didn't realize it was that long. Wow. I'm trying to remember the Poltergeist 2, the other side. I vaguely remember, was there like an Indian or something? Was that the creepy guy that came by? I can't remember how it worked. But, yeah, anyway. There's some kind of, they think, like in the movie, because wasn't the whole shtick is that they built their house on an Indian burial ground, literally? It was one of those things. And then they thought, well, maybe the movie itself had that same curse because some of the actors suffered early deaths.
Agreed.
I'm like, holy cow.
Very much agreed.
I wonder if that movie scared them at all when they were filming.
That's why I didn't touch on that.
Oh, yeah. I don't really put that together, Mustard. Like, yeah, she only lived to be 12. I can't say that's why I can't tell if they're trolling or not. Because he wants to go with her to the rapture, and I'm like, well, if you believe in heaven, she's already there. She died a long time ago, like 1988. She's not going to go with you to the rapture because she's already up there, down there, sidewhere, wherever heaven is. But yeah, I think 12 is how old she was when she passed. Yeah. Well, anywho, report the FBI. Yeah, we got Nito Ocampo. But I don't think that's how it works. Isn't the rapture only living people at the time? Like you might end up in heaven where she's at, but that still might be a little creepy. I'm not sure they'll let you into heaven if you profess how beautiful this 12-year-old kid was. I don't know. Kind of weird. I didn't think about that when he's saying like, oh yeah, she's pretty or whatever, cute. I was thinking cute, right? She was a cute kid. Hey, it's Bum.
Hey, Bum, what's up, man? When you were saying in your live stream the other day, you're like, this is gonna be a really full live stream week, and I'm like, you know what? Damn, it is. I mean, it's not just about the live streams that we're actually making, but also the live streams that we're watching. So
yeah, I feel bad.
It's fun.
I keep forgetting to watch your Friday live stream. I guess I have work during the day, but usually I have my personal computer on, and I don't know if I was in a meeting or something. I forgot, so I need to still watch you and Kirk. I haven't watched it yet. But you're right.
This last one,
a lot of live streams.
Yeah, this last one, Kirk and I, we finished our live stream, and instead of signing off, I kind of went into like some personal information, like, early elementary school life and whatnot, and how that kind of sucked.
Got some stories to rip out and put his videos on your channel, maybe, like you did with some of the other stories.
What for?
how you're going around telling out because all your live streams you have 2 or 3 hour live stream, and you might tell 2 or 3 really good stories you want to make videos out of. You might be able to do that yesterday then.
Yeah, I mean, I thought about that possibly, but
Jesus, we got it.
It's kind of embarrassing information, but at the same time, I'm over it. I mean, it's something that happened 36 years ago, 35 years ago.
Well, you paused temporarily. Okay. You paused on my end for a second. I'm like, oh, did I lose? I was looking at my router, seeing if I still.
But I mean, I would like the opportunity to at least, shout out, the good teachers because, I kind of talked about, some of the bad teacher I had.
Mm.
And then I basically said how I moved on to the next teacher and how that teacher changed my life and everything. So, and this is why I say, teachers, they don't get enough credit because, the right teacher, they do make all the difference in the world. Right.
Mhm.
And, that particular teacher, Mrs. Griffin, I love how she changed my life basically. So I had to kind of give her own shout out in that video as well.
No, that's good. Yeah, because I think a lot of people think it's just like I was reading Wikipedia. Oh, that's teaching. Just reading the book at someone and making them do homework or something. There's a lot more to it.
It can never be school. Bum, yes,
So how's Bum
love
top it
that.
this week?
Absolutely.
Bum's gonna have to top his interview week. Is he gonna have Shark Week this week? Go on. Can you interview sharks? I don't know if you can. When he said interview week, I thought of Shark Week. I'm like, that's kind of cool. I wonder if they could have a theme week. This week we'll talk. I haven't watched Shark Week in forever though. I feel bad. Well, now I don't have live TV. I'm like, I don't know. Oh, it's Rick.
Hey Rick, what's happening, man?
Needed a PDF file. Oh, I see what he's saying. Rick's not a fan of the portable document format. Apparently, he doesn't like Adobe.
Yeah.
PDF file. No, I think I know what he means. Well, we have one in our chat. Apparently, a PDF file.
And he's not.
No.
You also got to realize that you're looking at a 0.25 second clip that was put up against another clip, and it doesn't even make any darn sense.
I mean,
but that's
every time I see someone
that's
caught with child porn or something like that, it's some old white dude. It's not somebody playing cross-dressing dress-up time. It's a misnomer. I don't know why that myth persists, but usually those people are okay. It's the closeted ones you watch out for. I mean, that might be a different thing. I don't know about scamming. Well, no, he didn't, because didn't Peter Be Beautiful was you're into Bastion Booger, right? Because he trained under him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah.
That looks like a good figure.
And we're right now we're stopping at just series 1 to see how this series goes before we even do anything else. So, and that we're not even talking about anything else past series 1.
Are we getting a bum? Are we getting a bum in series 1?
Oh yeah.
Did we decide which bum? There's so many good bums.
Well, we're gonna do the original design with blue jacket and blue jeans. So that one's sticking. We still got Bastion Booger.
Oh yeah.
I'm probably gonna go with the. I don't know if I'm with the 4 Horsemen design.
Oh right, yeah.
I don't know if I want to take that figure and create 4 different characters using that mold. And just here's what I'm having issues with though. You know how I am. I want to have a new design or a new fighting pose with every new figure, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to have every single figure I don't want to have all the figures with same poses.
Yeah.
But here's the idea. If you had, and I think I made this argument with Bum yesterday during the live show.
During Shark Week.
I'm like, if you had 25 LJN figures and there were 25 LJN Hogans or 25 fighting poses of LJN Hogan,
all
right?
Hogans.
Would you rather have 25 of those, or would you rather have a mixed lot of fighting poses, and they included a Coco Beware and a Jake Roberts and a Mean Gene Okerlund, maybe an Elizabeth pose, something like that, right? Roddy Piper, these really bad fighting poses.
Mm-hmm. Well,
or you want something that really works as a playable figure, right? You want kids to play with these. You want them to have the same enjoyment that kids of the 80s had, so that 40 years from now they can talk about this stuff and have that sort of enjoyment from the line.
I mean, you want variety whether you're displaying them or playing with them. I think, anyways, don't you? Right? You don't want them all at the same pose. But you make a good point about the non-playable pose. Like if you're just displaying them, a non-playable pose, you don't really care about. But if you want them to play with them, yeah, you're gonna have to be cognizant. How many different playable poses are there? Can you probably tons though? What am I saying?
Yeah.
Yep. You don't run out of options.
So I'm thinking if we do the 4 Horsemen idea,
that's playable.
It might not be a bad idea to keep the same the same mold. and make 4 horsemen all with the same pose, but obviously a different color scheme with each one. So it gives us the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, and I'm like, that is awesome.
That could make sense too because they're a
Or
group. Be like if the 4
yep,
horsemen in wrestling, you all held up their 4 fingers, whatever they like to do, right? You know, that could be a natural pose. I mean, that's not playable, but it's the same idea. Yeah.
right. So I mean,
Speaking of
it
4
would be the
horsemen,
same figure, but
I was looking
it would
online.
be 4 different color schemes
Mhm.
and 4 different characters. The other idea is scratch the 4 horsemen idea, or at least scratch the idea of 4 different characters. Just give him one character, but maybe you release him in series 1 under one variant, maybe in series 2 as a separate variant, or maybe you do release 2 different variants in series 1 if it's a hot seller, and you could come out with variant 2 in the same series. You could still probably use the same poster and all that if you want. Probably not. I'll probably come out with a whole new poster, but
Mm.
hey, here's same character, but here's a different variant, same character name and everything. That way you're still making use out of that mold and everything. So, but that was my idea, is kind of use that same fighting pose and give you 4 different characters, 4
And
horsemen.
it's a good fighting pose, so you can play with it too, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's the idea. Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna get back through some of these because I'm missing a lot.
Yeah, catch up, Rick. Looks like I think he just gave you $5. Some of these I don't understand with the jewels and stuff, but that just says $5, so I can read $5. Oh yeah, the match. Bastion Booger. What's Kelvin? That a different
Is it true that well, I talked to, well, I didn't really talk to him. I only messaged him because he's the sponsor for the Legacy page, and he told me that that the family doesn't want to be, that the children don't want to be involved, like they don't want to be out in the public or something. So he's going to reach out to him in a couple weeks and see if they can cut a promo or something, and that way kind of get MRW out there for the Bastion Brother figure.
Cut a promo, just like in wrestling, right? Cut a promo. Okay, wait, no, let's mute that. I don't have a speaker on, but sometimes, and these ads could just go F themselves. Hey, did you know the Rapture's coming? Oh, if the Rapture's coming. Google boy there is gonna go with Heather O'Rourke still. I like when someone makes one ugly comment there. Automatically good too, but any Hogan fans out there, I'm sure he said. Yeah, I mean, Hogan does have a history. That would be good at anything. Do they have a legacy page? So what they're talking about,
what will turn out, Rick?
Bastion.
The Bastion Booger figure will turn out?
He's concerned that you're getting scammed.
Oh.
Does Shaw and his family or Peter have a legacy page? So I've never actually seen this, but there is a place where they advertise upcoming figures of Bastion Booger or any of his gimmicks. Or maybe Mike Shaw directly. Is there a page out there? I've never actually looked.
Yeah, they have a Gmail account. The Mike Shaw Legacy Foundation at Gmail or something.
And there's a page for that. Oh, okay. I'll have to take a look at that. Every time it comes up in this live stream, but I've never thought to go out and look. Usually I just, once the live stream over, I go do something else and I kind of forget to do homework. I'd be kind of curious to see what's out there. Bastion Booger. Anybody making any of his other gimmicks? I'll have to check that out. I don't know. Because when did he pass away? I actually never thought to look that up.
Who was that, Bastion Booger?
Yeah, Mike. He's been gone for a while. Never thought to look him up.
I want to say 2010s, 2012, 2016, something like that, maybe.
You just kind of get sad because they disappear out of your wrestling. Yeah, 2010. September 11th, 2010. Yeah, he was only 53. Died in Marquette, Michigan. Pulmonary embolus. So that's a clot to your lungs.
What for Bastion?
Yeah, I think that's pulmonary embolism. Blockage of an artery in the lungs. Yep. Yeah, clot to your lungs. Pulmonary for lungs, embolus for clot. I watch a lot of medical shows. In fact, I was just watching one, catching up on The Pit this afternoon. That's a good show on HBO Max. If you like medical shows, you catch up on the jargon after a while. Though I think I made a mistake when I was taking my dad to the doctor once. What did I say? I used an acronym I shouldn't have. I forget what it was, but they look concerned because I think he basically said, "Oh, I think he had a pulmonary embolus or something of that nature." And like, "Oh no, I used the wrong acronym. My bad. Too smart for my own good. Go about your doctor and ignore me, the armchair doctor over here." I'll have to check it out. What the fuck is happening? I don't know. Is something happening? Something? Is that the same Kelvin that gives us the choices? Because it was Kelvin Jackson, but I don't remember the number. They're talking about Hulk Hogan. Yeah. Actually, I think Hulk Hogan or Terry actually argued that in the court of law. Was it the Gawker trial? That, well, Hulk Hogan, which, I mean, for him, to be fair, that's like a protected gimmick, right? His character. It was different than Terry Bollea. I forget what he said, but yeah, I mean, Terry wasn't perfect. Hulk was perfect. Terry wasn't. That's why sometimes people play characters, right? Because then I'm not perfect in real life, but as Captain Insano, maybe I can be. I was thinking because it was definitely Kelvin Jackson. I just couldn't remember the number. If he had a random number at the end, I thought he had a different. What do you call it? Icon logo. Less of an idea if you pass me. Yeah, because they're same thing about Chuck Norris. He had a problematic past. He wasn't perfect. 86 though. I forgot that he was that old. Am I missing Kelvin's questions then? Is Google Chat? Because I only saw Kelvin say one thing.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything pop up from Kelvin.
Where I think it was Bum figured out you had to do like an underscore and a dash and a number and a bunch of weird stuff before Google would show the chat message. It was a really weird outage.
Yeah, I don't think that's happening tonight or anything like that.
I thought maybe I was missing something. Like I only saw him post one thing, and then I see Mustard say, "What's happening?" And I'm like, "I don't know. Is there something happening? Am I missing it? We're missing it. Can't say I've been missing it, Bob."
No, I just think they're talking in general. You always post those really awesome video, music or movie questions.
Yeah, no, yeah. Sometimes they're really easy. He'll give me easy relatively speaking, because he'll give like a really good artist or let's say band, and then one of my favorite bands, and I'm like, well, that band's good, but I mean, Tool's my favorite, or Nine Inch Nails, or Alice in Chains, whatever it is, right? I don't think he's ever asked for like two bands that are close on my hierarchy, and then have to be like, let's think of the merits of that song. Movies have been harder, especially because he'll pull out some stuff I've never seen. I feel bad admitting it. Like, I never saw Finding Nemo, which is true. I never actually did. Stuff like that. Like, but he pulls out some deep cuts, and you're like, I've never heard of that one. I need to add that to the list.
For like the longest time, like I always considered a band
terrific.
Like I consider a band a group of people.
Oh.
Like literally, just that was my definition. A group of singers or a group of people. That is it. So like if you ask me, is Boys to Men a band?
I see what you're going with.
Boys to Men would be a band.
Yeah.
They are a group of people. They're a group of singers.
They didn't play instruments.
And I remember like back in 2011, I'm in the Shindan province of Herat, Afghanistan, and we're on Camp Lawton. It's a special forces compound down there, shared by the Marines and Army. And and I'm working for Mantech, and one of the Oshkosh employees, he asked me this question, like, what's your favorite band? I say, Boys to Men. He looks at me like I'm freaking retarded. Oh, they're not a band. They're a group.
Oh.
I'm like, what the hell is the difference? Band, group? What is a band? It's a group of people.
So they're saying they have to play an instrument or at least one instrument or something like that, maybe?
And apparently I learned something new. Apparently, in order to be considered a band, you have to play instruments. Otherwise, if all you do is sing, all you are is a group. So if you're NSYNC or Backstreet Boys or something like that, Boys to Men, you're nothing more. Spice Girls, you're nothing more than a group. I'm like, okay, fine.
Okay.
Then I guess Boyz II Men are my favorite group, and
A group of singers, then I guess, because I guess you're saying like Taylor Swift. I don't think she plays an instrument, so she's not a band. She's just a singer.
well, she's an individual, so I mean, I would never
What
call
if
her a
the,
band
so if the
anyways.
individual plays the individual? Is there any examples of an individual by him or herself that plays an instrument? Tori Amos, she plays an instrument, but she's not a band because she's by herself. What if she has people backing her? She a band then? Ooh, right.
Now you do have like
Ugh.
Casey and the
So
Sunshine
is
Band,
Casey
or
not
something
part
like
of the
that. Or
band?
something.
Casey is deliberately not part of the band because it's and Casey over here, and
Because
then the band's
Casey
over there.
and
Sorry, Casey, you're the singer.
so it's Casey, and this is just Casey's band. So I don't
Hey, this is a good one because you've got some Disney movies. You like to? What's your favorite Disney
know.
movie? Nito Ocampo says Beauty and the Beast. I think Bum, you might be going with Aladdin. I always was partial to. Wasn't it the was it just called The Mermaid? What was it called? The original Mermaid. Ariel, was it just called Mermaid? Whatever it was.
The Little Mermaid.
Little Mermaid. That's what I was thinking. Mermaid didn't sound right. I don't know if that's because I remember the one. Can you be a one-man band? Was he one that played like he had a drum on his chest and a harmonica up here, and he could play the guitar, or maybe the drum was behind him, and he could hit something on it. One of those people that has like 3 or 4 instruments on him that they bang at the same time. I think Little
Let me go
Mermaid.
back. Was
It wasn't an official
okay?
question. I'm kind of
wasn't
making
sure.
it up. I'm kind of making it up in Calvin's absence.
Yeah, well, I wasn't sure if this was animated movies in general or Disney movies.
Well, that's a good
so,
point. I didn't really narrow it down. I don't think we narrowed it down.
But
yet. Either one.
Disney movies, it really does have to fall down to like 3 movies:
Okay.
Lion King,
Oh.
Beauty and the Beast, or Aladdin.
So, oh wow, you made 2 of the 3 that people like. I never saw Lion King either, by the way. Add that to the list. I just didn't have a kid or grandson or nobody young that saw it, and I just never got around to seeing the Lion King. Heard some of the songs, but so Lion King, Aladdin, or Beauty and the Beast. Beauty and the Beast is probably pretty popular. A lot of interesting.
But Beauty and the Beast is funny. Beauty and the Beast is funny as hell because when Belle sees him at the end of the movie, and she sees him in human form, and she looks at him, she's like, "Go back. I like you better as the Beast than as a human being."
Oh, yeah.
She was not attracted to him at all.
So, I mean, that's part of probably the lure, the very Disney message there. Be our guest, yeah. Definitely some popularity there. Any other? Well, how about live action? Are there a lot of live action? Well, there's probably some. Yeah, I'm trying to think of the live action Disney movies. What would be a favorite?
Well, they did Beauty and the Beast really good. They did Aladdin really well as well.
Live action?
I
don't think I followed that. I feel like
yeah.
I should know
So
that.
Beauty and the Beast and Aladdin, they actually did those. They did those well. I think. I don't know. Did I see the Moana one?
And it doesn't have to be live action of animated movies, right? They did some non-animated movie live actions too, right? I'm pretty sure.
You know, Little Mermaid. I think the Little Mermaid live
They did
action
that
was
live
actually
action,
pretty darn good.
didn't they? I never saw that. But I mean, they did some non-animated movie live actions too, right? I think. I'm pretty sure Disney's got some. Right, this wasn't based on an animated movie first. We just did a live action movie. Actually, when you think of Disney, they did like Snow White, didn't they? And the 7 Dwarfs.
Yeah, they've done that a million times.
Because sometimes I'm pretty sure most of the things I think, or Dumbo, or Bambi. Maybe it's not Little Mermaid. Maybe I need to reconsider.
Could you imagine somebody putting the Rachel Zegler Snow White on their list of favorite movies?
Was that the live action one?
Probably the worst freaking movie in the history of existence.
I heard a lot of people.
I mean, that was a $1 billion franchise, and guaranteed $1 billion. Like you didn't even have to say or do anything. That movie was going to make $1 billion, and Rachel Zegler just would not shut the F up. And suddenly, this movie is losing hundreds of millions of dollars. How? It wasn't physically possible for this movie to fail.
Like such
a freaking
movie. Yeah.
I mean, when people say use the expression "go woke, go broke" type, I mean that is the perfect example. Like, dude, shut up. You are hurting your credibility as an actress. You're hurting your credibility as a person. You're hurting your credibility as far as the star of this movie. And you're hurting Disney in general. Like,
Emma
my God, it's terrible.
That was the live action Snow White.
Yeah.
Talk about. I didn't realize Emma Watson played Beauty in Beauty and the Beast. Then, huh? In the live action.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't see that. Okay. Christopher Robin, I never saw. They made a live action Dumbo. Apparently, I didn't know that. All these are live action based on the animated. I'm talking about like they've made some original live action, haven't they? I'm pretty sure they did. These lists are weird. Yeah, there's a Little Mermaid live action. Holly Bailey? I want to say Barry, but no. Lion King. Oh yeah, there's the Snow White. There you go. Dang, the original was 1937. I forgot how old Snow White was.
Yeah.
Tonight. A lot of good songs. That's why I feel like I should eventually one of these days watch the original Lion King. I still haven't. Well, I've got Disney streaming. It's got to be on there, right? They got to own the streaming rights to Lion King. You would think, right? I hope. Though they get kind of tricky with that stuff. I've heard them taking content off there, maybe to make you to go buy DVDs or Blu-rays or something. Or maybe VHS tapes. Do you know anybody who has any?
Not good.
You know anybody who has any Disney VHS tapes for sale?
This guy, a bunch of them.
See how that was a nice segue, wasn't it? I was just thinking, wait, I think I saw you. Disney, I think, is actively pulling some of this stuff off their live stream, and I don't know why. They're not live stream; they're a streaming service. So they.
I mean, I bought like at that.
That's a good one.
What was it? I think Peddler's Mall. I think I found like a ton of these clamshell Disney movies, and I'm like, oh hell, this is awesome. And original clamshell. I mean, that's sweet. That should be worth some money. And I put them up, and I think I put like 7 movies up for like $70, thinking that they'd be worth something. And no interest. So I've been dropping the price. Or I did drop the price. I came down to as low as like $30, $35, $40, $45, somewhere around there. And they've been up for like $40, $45, wherever I dropped it at. And I mean, I won't go any lower than that. Otherwise, if I go any lower after selling fees, I'm going to take a big loss. So at $45, I should have been like 36 on it, and I'm like, at least I'll earn some of my money back. But I was thinking, okay, I was thinking that'd be like $100 sale right there for 7 clamshells.
But apparently,
especially seeing what VHS is selling for. But yeah, I don't know what the heck it is. Why some VHSs are worth so much freaking money, and others are like just sit there.
That's interesting. I didn't even know any of them were. Though I think I'm talking to a buddy of mine. I think is it the same with some video games too, or PC games? He was talking about. I forget what game he said he had. That was or something even loose, and I'm like, really? People are collecting those too, huh? But I know a lot of people are rebuying physical media because of the live stream or the streaming services taking stuff down. I don't know if they're buying VHS or Blu-ray or DVD or whatever they can get their hands on. I don't know if that's part of it. So these are probably collectors, if it's VHS tapes, right? More than people want to play them, or maybe some people are.
Yeah,
could be like vinyl. Maybe it's nostalgic playing. Because when you think about it, why is our love of LGN so wacky? Because I can have a modern figure with 75 points of articulation. Why wouldn't I want that? That's better, right? That's your Blu-ray. Well, maybe I want the VHS tape. Maybe I want the LGN figure. I don't know. Teach their own.
Hey, Meadow. Nope. Never heard that movie, but we talked about this when we talked about that on Monday or Wednesday, our favorite movies.
Escape to Witch Mountain. I've heard of that because didn't they remake that with The Rock or Vin Diesel or someone like that? I think they remade Escape.
I think it was The Rock. I think it was The Rock. Weren't they like
remake. Or something? I think I remember watching the original one because I was young and it was even older than me when we saw it. I don't remember the plot though. 1975. Yeah, that sounds about right. I'm pretty sure they remade it.
Man, I'm still going to say Cruel Intentions, man, because I really don't have a better answer.
Then what?
I mean, like I said, if you were locked away in a prison cell, locked away in anywhere for the rest of your life, and like, hey, here's one movie you're going to be able to watch. This is your entertainment for the rest of your life. I mean, would Cruel Intentions be the movie that I chose to keep me occupied for real? Probably not. Like, I don't know. Like, when someone asks me, like, what movie piques your interest, I don't have an answer. Like, I have to choose a movie that I consider easy viewing. Like, Major Pain, to me, is a movie that I consider easy viewing. Like, I could watch that movie multiple times, and, like, you don't have to pay attention to it because you've seen it plenty of times. You know what it's all about and everything.
Yeah, one of my nephew's favorite movies, Major Pain. He really loves it.
It's good comedy.
It's got a wrestler in it.
It does, yeah. It's Damon Wayans, one of my favorite actors. I mean, the Wayans brothers in general. Any of the Wayans brothers, they're all some of my favorite actors, some of my favorite comedians. They produce some of my favorite movies. So, that would be a good answer, right? I talk about a movie that I saw on Netflix last year sometime. Death Note.
Oh yeah,
Death Note was the live action version of the anime, and I think that was incredibly well made. You're cutting down an entire anime TV series into 1 hour and a half, 2 hour movie.
It was live action.
And
I missed that part. It was a live action movie. Yes, that's a lot different. Yeah, based on an anime. Okay.
And they did that. They did that, and they did an amazing job with that movie.
Like our Disney discussion, live action made based on an animated. Tim Malone, Kim Richards. Oh, okay, there's Nito Campo. Jorge Montoya brought in some beer for us. And then wrestling with Bum Shadows falling down. And then apparently must be wrestling you had to watch. Is that what you're saying, Bum? If you had to watch one thing, it'd be wrestling Royal Rumble 92, or if it was one thing of wrestling, it'd be Royal Rumble 92. No, I think we talked Big Trouble last time. That was a cool movie.
Yep.
Wacky movie.
Yep, I remember that.
Russell and the mannequin Kim Cattrall, right? Wasn't Kim Cattrall in that one? I think, yeah.
Yeah, she was.
Such an out there movie when I first saw it. I'm like, I'm not sure what to think of.
What's funny?
When I first saw it, it's kind of strange.
Everybody talks Molly Ringwald about being all over the 1980s, but nobody ever talks Kim Cattrall. She's plastered all over the 1980s.
Yeah. I remember seeing,
and she's like in a bunch of like really hot movies. Mannequin was a hot movie. Yeah. Big Trouble in Little China was a hot movie. Mm-hmm. Of course, Dee Wallace was plastered all over the 80s. I mean, she was in a bunch of hot hit movies. I mean, E.T. was a hit movie. Howling was another hot hit movie. Cujo was another hot hit movie. So, like, she was
early 80s, maybe
plastered around the 80s.
Maybe more early 80s. Maybe
not Gremlins, but Critters.
Who?
Critters. Oh, she was in Critters.
But Gremlins who was the lady that was in Gremlins? She was Phoebe Cates? Was that Gremlins? That sound right?
Yeah, from
Fast Times.
Drop Dead Fred.
Yep, and Fast Times at Richmond High.
Drop Dead Fred. I've been trying to get my wife to watch that movie for decades, man. Really? I can't get her to watch that. But that is a childhood favorite. Of course, my family always made fun of me because now my wife is doing it because she catches me doing it to myself nowadays. Talking to my imaginary friend.
Mm-hmm.
But
that was Phoebe Cates. That was Phoebe Cates too, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, if you think about it, I've probably seen fewer Molly Ringwald movies than the people you mentioned. I mean, Breakfast Club, of course. I think there was it Pretty in Pink or 16 Candles? Was that her both in those? Maybe, I don't know.
I think she was in both of them.
Well, I couldn't tell them apart, but I've seen them. But I don't know the plots of both of them. Were they the same plot? I think it was one movie, wasn't it? I've never seen those two movies in the same room at the same time. I can't.
Was 16 Candles where she was pregnant and then she moved in with her boyfriend with her mom or something?
I don't remember.
I can remember that movie a little bit.
I assume she was
I don't remember
16 in the movie because of the 16 Candles, but I don't remember because one of them what did he play the character Ducky, the guy who later on was in 2.5 Men, and then was the other one Pretty in Pink? I don't remember. I have no idea. They blend together in my head. Breakfast Club's the only one that stands out. That one I remember. Everyone has to remember Breakfast Club. That's where the bull you get the horns. Don't You Forget About Me. A lot of songs in those movies too. I still catch on YouTube every once in a while. What was the song for Mannequin? Nothing Gonna Stop Us Now or something? Because they even have clips of the movie in it. And it's on the official video on YouTube. I forget what the name of the band is because I didn't watch much of it. But
Starship Trooper or something like that.
That does sound familiar.
Not Starship Trooper.
Different movie, but
Starship. Not Trooper, but
I think you're
Starship something.
I think you're close with the Starship. I don't want to look it up, but yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm sure I watched them because I did have a little bit of a thing for Molly. I like redheads, but I don't remember. I can't pick apart the plot from 16 Candles versus Pretty in Pink. I feel bad enough knowing I think one of the characters was Ducky. I think. Does that sound right? I think so. Hello,
No,
Wisconsin, no Papa Pump, The Undertaker, Cain and Abel. Those were all words that I've never heard in that same order before. Words, phrases, loud noises, as Jim Cornette, I think, said. Mania 3's epic went up. But Mania 3's got that great, midget match with Hillbilly Jim and King Kong Bundy, and no, it wasn't great. I was kidding.
Hey, that was awesome.
Was
I
there
remember
other good
watching that when I was
WrestleMania
young.
3? I don't think there was. I think that was the only really good match, was that midget one. That's the only one I remember. Anything else happened?
I mean, it's definitely better than Hogan versus Andre.
I mean, to me, admittedly, and I think I told that story when Bum interviewed me, Mania has a spot in my heart because I think that was the first pay-per-view I saw live. And we went as a family trip to watch it closed circuit in some auditorium or movie theater somewhere, right? Because pay-per-view wasn't necessarily a thing that was widespread when 3 was out. We actually drove out of town like an hour or two to go watch it. So, I mean, part of that is I remember the trip. And, of course, a lot of people love the Steamboat Macho Man match. Maybe it was better than the Hogan Andre. I mean, as far as wrestling goes, it was better, of course, because those guys were both in their prime. They could move better. Andre was lucky to make it to that match. As far as storyline goes, probably Andre was bigger. Well, I mean, of course, it was before and after, because then Steamboat eventually, I think he quits to spend more time with his son, and they take the belt off him, right? So his IC run was pretty short. But yeah, I mean, so Royal Rumble '92. Can anybody refresh my memory? Who won? Was that the first one?
Savage versus Steamboat.
Was Royal Rumble '92 the first one? That's the problem, is that a lot of the Royal Rumbles blend together. It's like Royal Rumble in a
88
year.
was the first one.
Oh, so that was later on. So '92, was that one of those?
Well, 88.
Yeah.
That's where Ric Flair won.
'92 was? Okay.
Yeah, Hogan was just eliminated, and then he grabs Sid Justice by the arm, and Ric Flair dumps him as Hogan's pulling Justice over the ropes.
Because it is funny. And so when you hear Jesse the Body or when Piper was a heel talk about Hogan the cheater, Hogan actually was kind of different for a face, because he sometimes would rake their eyes. And that was kind of a heel move he did to Sid, right? It was interesting to see a face do that. Hogan would kind of sort of could get away with doing that. I mean, a lot of times the story was, hey, he's good versus evil, right? He's beating up Kamala or the Big Boss Man or whatever. But he would do some heel-like moves sometimes in the ring that not a lot of faces back then would do. Like nowadays, of course, you have Austin kind of broke the mold and all that stuff, right? The anti-hero type. But back then, it was strictly good versus evil. You were a heel or a baby face. Nothing like AEW where it goes from minute to minute, week to week. They're a heel, they're a baby face, because they don't tell stories. They don't care. But, so that's the Flair ran the whole match. He was like 1 or 2, right? And he won Royal Rumble, which meant he won the belt too, I think, right? Winner took the belt that year.
Yeah, Flair did.
Yeah.
When he won Rumble.
For some reason, I can never rember '92, but I know I watched it. I just can never remember the year. It doesn't stand out in my head. Best Hogan movie.
I say No Holds Barred.
It started it all.
I mean, I love the movie. It's a good comedy. It's a cheesy flick, but guess what? Sometimes the cheesy flicks really work.
Now, did they release that in the theaters before the pay-per-view? Because I remember, didn't they have a pay-per-view match and movie combo? Because that's, I think, when I saw it. Do you know what I'm talking about? Because then they had this cage match with Zeus. I want to say Macho and Hogan, and maybe it was Beefcake, or wasn't it like a tag team?
Yeah, that was '89 SummerSlam.
No, I mean, they had that too, but there was like a double. You got the movie and the match or something. Do you remember what I'm talking about? Did I hallucinate that? Was I drunk as a kid? Let's look that up. No holds barred. I can't type. Movie and match. The event No Holds Barred, the match movie, was a pay-per-view event that took place on December 27th, 1989. Yeah, had the movie. And a pre-recorded steel cage team match. Yeah, the main event was a steel cage between Hogan and Beefcake and Savage and Zeus. I got it exactly right. Did anybody saw that? That's, I think, actually when I first saw the movie. So it has a place in my heart too, because we paid for the pay-per-view right after Christmas, right? So you're not going to school, so it's Christmas vacation still. You're enjoying your presents. You get to watch this Hogan movie and this, ultimate. Well, it's kind of neat because you see Hogan defeat Zeus's character, and then it's like, wait, no, Zeus is a real life bad guy. Oh, how's he going to get out of this? This isn't a scripted movie, guys. This is a real wrestling event. So that's probably the reason why it holds a place in my heart. Zeus, yeah. Too bad he didn't really get a deep run, did he? Was it?
Nah, I mean, he was only, I think, there just to advertise
I mean,
for
yeah.
the movie.
He looked apart.
So I
and
think he was
acted
just there
later
for those
on,
last couple months.
but he wasn't a great wrestler per se. It's getting kind of dark in here now, isn't it? My one little light's not.
I mean, I think he did pretty well in for his role. I think if they wanted to keep him longer as an actual wrestler, I think he would have been just fine.
He actually had an acting
I mean,
career. I don't know if he had it before, but after that, he had an acting career too. I think. Tiny Lister.
Yeah, I mean, I think he was acting.
Yeah.
Because if I'm not mistaken, I think Armed and Dangerous came out before. I'm thinking Armed and Dangerous came out like '87.
The John Candy movie.
Yeah.
Nice.
And Eugene Levy. So
I just saw.
I mean, I could be wrong, but I could have sworn that movie came out before.
In Lister was in
Before
that one?
Bard.
Was he in that one? Okay, let's see. I just watched a documentary on John Candy. Because he passed away young too. Really young. They talked about how great a person he was, and
He could wrestle.
Meg Ryan.
I mean, I thought he did fine.
Robert Loach.
But
man, there's a lot of interest.
I'm not the most pickiest person in the world either.
Yeah. He had a lot of.
As long as they hold their own, like I'm okay.
I mean, you knew what you're getting into with Zeus that we're talking about. Sorry, I got distracted. The internet was up there. I was looking up. Hogan and even Beefcake made Zoogless. Oh, yeah, of course. What's interesting is I never hated Beefcake that much, but those one guys that. So I can't tell if they're doing kayfabe or if it's for real. The OVP folks, they kind of poo on Beefcake. I think that's also because they really love Valentine. Because I'm watching them from the beginning, like in the early '80s. The Dream Team and stuff. And they say like, oh, and it's kind of interesting, and I think they're kind of right because Valentine, I think at one point was it Johnny Valiant as manager? But then they said Valentine and Jimmy Hart were both better together. They really love Jimmy Hart as a manager, and I mean I can't blame them. Some of the comments they make though. Yeah, Friday. Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely Friday. Kind of fun. But yeah. Friday. I don't watch a lot of stuff he was in, but because I was a kid when I first saw him, and that first time I ever saw Zeus was in The Holds Barred, and then he starts wrestling, and I'm like, oh my gosh, he's really a person that can beat up Hogan and Beefcake. This could be serious, right? Did they? That hailed him from. Oh, they did. Yeah, Beefcake. Yeah, that's right. But I think at one point he was from Parts Unknown or something too. Early on, maybe before they went with the San Francisco route. I think you're right. A lot of that stuff I didn't pick up on as a kid, but now that I'm rewatching it with those OVP folks, you're like, oh yeah, I didn't really know. And it was the weekly shows, so I didn't always have those on VHS or could watch them. I don't know where they're getting their tape, but that's also part of it is seeing the history of like mid '80s. Now I think they're in '88 actually. The weekly wrestling superstars, whatever it was called. Kind of fun. And kind of fun to watch. Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby Heenan's both when they're announcing wrestling, but then also they had the studio part of that show that they're going through.
Mm-hmm.
Just see their give and take. As a kid, of course, you didn't realize that they really loved each other, right? And they're great friends because they're giving each other crap on TV. It's kind of like you were allowed to rib each other, but it was part of the story, right? It was like you get away with each other. But then you knew they were both acting characters, right? Because like Heenan he didn't live in Hollywood or whatever, right? I think he was born in Chicago, then moved to Indiana with his aunt. He grew up poor, right? Heenan was not a rich guy. Yeah. I didn't. As a kid, of course, I hated Bobby the Brain Heenan. That's what was supposed to happen. He was the lightning rod. He was supposed to draw heat. And then later you learn about him as an adult. And you watch him again and you're like, man, was he good at his job. Back on that.
It wasn't an official contract. Like I asked about that, and we're like, hey, PayPal, friends and family, and that's all we need. And so I'm like, hey, do we need get some kind of notary or anything like that, or you making like an official contract? Because that's what I was thinking when they say sign the talent. You think actual contract, right? And that wasn't the case. Like, hey, this is what we're asking for. This is what we want paid up front, and this is what we want in the back end. If this is agreed, we can move forward. And that was basically as simple as it was. So there's no official contract or anything like that. And once the family was paid, that was your signing, per se. So. No, but I video called with Peter that the couple days before before payment, just to confirm that he was a real Peter person. So he is legit. And I spoke to it's not like I just went into this willy-nilly. I spoke to several different people, and obviously the folks who've actually been making Bastion Booger figures. They confirmed that they went through Peter as well, and that he's legit. So that verified, anything I needed to confirm. So he is legit. He is actually the spokesperson for the Mike Shaw family. And I don't pay Peter. I pay the foundation.
Mustard's probably raising some good points. I've never had to do this, so I don't. Just trying to be cautious, probably. Be safe. Can they sue you later? Can they come back and say, "Oh, you made unauthorized figures"? Do you share with them your designs?
I do. Yeah, I mean, I share with Peter, or at least I have. He also goes on my Facebook sometimes, and he sees the pictures I upload.
I was wondering if the family, unless they don't want to care, if they've given any feedback, like, "Oh, I don't like this, but I do like that, and could you do this?" And make Michael.
Yeah, because I think it was Mustard that asked me if why is the Mike Shaw Legacy Foundation, why is nobody sponsoring MRW or anything like that, or advertising, and I really didn't have an answer for him. I guess it was my thinking is it was supposed to be up to me to do all the advertising or something, but I messaged Peter. I'm like, hey, is there any way that the family can go on and just kind of do some advertisement for us, just kind of confirm that, hey, we're collaborating with Waddy's channel or Maniac Right Wrestling, just something simple like that, just one message. That way it kind of gives the public notice, like, hey, yes, he's legit, and we are working together on this project. That way, when I do release the Bastion Booger, there's no question as to whether or not it's a realistic signed character.
They got an ice cream bar. I assume if this is their webpage. Oh, pro tease. It might behoove you to, just in case, to talk to them outside of Peter. I'm wondering, is that where Mustard's getting at? Maybe.
Well, they have the Legacy Foundation email account, and there was I spoke to them through email. I didn't speak to them personally on the phone or anything like that.
And they respond back to you.
So yeah, and they obviously want me to make his figure too. They've been pushing hard for me to make his figure.
I wonder what would happen if you started making them outside of a contract. Could they sue you? They might.
I don't think it would go that far.
You thought about maybe.
As long as I hold up my end of what we agreed upon, I don't think they would go that route, because it's going to make them more money. The more sales I make, it's going to be more money in their pocket. And I'm talking about, if I order 200 figures and I sell 200 figures, and then I could go back and I can reorder, let's say, 500 more figures. Let's say those 500 figures sell. That's 500 more figures of royalties going towards the family. So they don't want to lose those profits. Those 500 figures sell. Maybe I could go back, order another 500 figures, and let's say those again. That's more profit going to them. So I'm pretty sure they wouldn't want to jeopardize that. I mean, like I said, those royalty payments are going to add up with each sale.
I think probably the point Mustard's getting at is the concern that you're not actually dealing with them, so that somebody could have just taken you for your money, and then once the real them find out, they might sue you because they were actually in the contract. I mean, I don't know. I think he's worried that you don't have any proof that you could definitely make these figures. You haven't really talked to them. You talked to Peter. You sent an email to the foundation, but outside of a contract, what happens if they do sue?
Yeah.
You might want to look into that a bit. I would be concerned. I mean, he's making some good points. I mean, I've never tried to do this, making wrestling figures. I don't even know, and that maybe bend AJ's ear a bit, right? Because he's had to do this, and he's very recent to the game. How did he make sure that him and Bill Eadie and Andre, and probably more importantly, Andre the Giant Macho Man, the legacy estates. Because that's a good point. How do you make sure it is the estate? Because it's kind of like also I had to deal with when my dad passed away. Other than I had the executor and he had me listed as beneficiaries and stuff. That's pretty easy. If it's a financial account, I'm the beneficiary, then the bank or whatever doesn't care. But what if I was going in there and I wanted to take possession of his house or his car or something? I'd have to prove that, hey, are you really his son and are you part of the estate? And I wonder if that ever happens in these kind of things. I'm sure it does. You start making figures because you think you're dealing with Michael Jackson estate, and really you're just dealing with some stranger from Finland or something. I don't know how you make sure you're dealing with the estate. That's a interesting, tricky issue. Yeah, I think that's also part of it. Unfortunately, it's going to cost money. Notarization isn't probably a big a deal, but to get a contract drawn up, I don't know if you trust a LegalZoom or a cheap place like that, but you might want to consider looking into that just in case. We don't want you to have to make these figures and all of a sudden Shaw's family comes out and who are you? What are you doing over here? I'm not saying that'll happen.
Yeah.
It's about protecting you. Bastion Booger. So I think I found his site. Looks like they have an Instagram. Does everybody have Instagram? Am I behind? I know Bum talked about his Instagram. Because I see they have a ice cream bar. I assume that one company's making ice cream bars at Bastion Booger. I've seen those. Those are kind of expensive. I'm glad I'm not collecting those. Neat, very nostalgic. I remember the ice cream bars as a kid, but no, not now. I'm signing into Instagram.
So I tried getting those ice cream bars, what do you call them? Trading cards, but when I looked at them, they're not even real trading cards. They're just part of the box that you cut out.
Okay.
You flip them around, it's just the white cardboard. I'm like, and you look on eBay, and each of those suckers are like $30 a piece. I'm like, okay, I wanted these things for the collection, but I'm like, more wrestling memorabilia for the collection. But I'm like, hold on a minute.
So it'd be kind of like the bio card on an LGN, right? You have to cut it out yourself.
Yeah, I'm like, if this was a legitimate, box, actual trading card that came with the original ice cream or something, that would be different. But it's not. It's a piece of cardboard. I'm like, hold on a minute. I'm not. No, forget that. You want to get all 12 of them or however many there were at $30 a pop.
Oh, these are the original. Are you talking about the original ice cream?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, I missed that part.
Yeah, the 1980s ice cream. No, I'm like, now there was somebody out there that had the original 1980s poster of the ice cream, and they had the actual original ice cream box actually in a picture frame and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And there was something that like $250. I'm like, looks nice, but come on, for that price, nah, can't do it.
Better buy me dinner first. Give me a reach around, whatever perverted thing you want to say. Is Top Rope Collectibles going to make? So Lunatic signs with Top Rope Collectibles. So there might be a Galoob, Norman Lunatic coming out. They really should do all of his gimmicks, right? Shouldn't they? I mean, because they'll do 2 or 3 of Diamond Stud. And why didn't they do that when they did Diamond Stud? They should have done different. Probably they had to get out. Well, they should have done more Scott Halls, right? They should have done a Razor. Well, they probably can't because of WWF, I guess.
Well, if they're doing WCW only.
But doesn't WWE own WCW? When Vince finally won the Monday Night Wars, I wonder how that work shakes out. That's all that lawyer stuff, like Muster was saying. I don't know what is on. Why is Bastion Booger's name allowed? I guess Norman Lunatic maybe is allowed too. I don't know who owns what. I know definitely nowadays WWE is definite about. They'll even change your name so that they can trademark it for later, right? So they don't lose the naming rights or the T-shirts, hats, figures, whatever it is. Okay, yeah, okay. And that's what I was just on his Instagram, Mike Shaw Legacy. And they mentioned here he signed, Norman the Lunatic signs with Top Rope. I'm like, oh, so I have to look for that. Because I collect those Galoob styles. But now that I see that, I'm like, well, they need to, it sounds like Bastion Booger can take the name. They need to make a Bastion Booger. And I'm wondering if they can make a Friar Ferguson. Make a bunch of his gimmicks instead of just 2 or 3 different colored Norman the Lunatics. You know what I mean? Mix it up a bit, Top Rope.
Yeah.
Norman Lunatic T-shirt. Oh, pro wrestling piece. Yeah. That's interesting. More figures coming. Start getting another job. More figures.
All right.
Yeah, that's what's kind of
That's another
interesting. Who owns what? Like some, because a lot of states don't own the IP. You know, depending on how the WWE, WWF did the contracts. Some of them can't. Yeah, they did. Didn't they? NASA doing a booger. Ooh, fired Ferguson. Yeah, nothing LJN yet. Do they call Mike Shaw or do they call? I literally just got the zombie sailor question.
Well,
You can
Zombie
see
called him Mike. They called him Mike Booger Shaw.
that's
They put Booger in quotation marks.
to get around it.
So they didn't even call him Mike Bastion Booger Shaw. They just called him Mike Booger Shaw.
Okay.
And I'm like, but when I asked Peter about that, he's like, WWE doesn't own the rights to Bastion Booger. So if I wanted to simply call him Bastion Booger on the card, I could do
You
so.
can get away with it.
Because otherwise, I was gonna have to call him Mike Shaw on the card, and I didn't want to do that. Like he's known as Bastion Booger, so I want to call him Bastion Booger on the card.
That is cute calling him Booger Shaw. You get away with it. Did Zombie not track down whether they could? They're just like, well, we'll just call him Mike Shaw. I have to look at it. I literally just got it today from Mabel Toys. I got a bunch of grapplers and gimmicks and that Tommy Sailor in. And I didn't look close enough at the name. I just looked at the figure in the card. Haven't opened it yet. Booger Shaw. Not to be confused with that Booger from Revenge of the Nerds, right? Wasn't he called Booger? I think he was, yeah. I forget his real name.
So I will. I don't know. Maybe what's his name? Davidson. Something Davidson from Top Rope
I think I've
Collectibles.
seen him on Facebook.
I'll reach out to him and see what he says about about the legacy and how he got the figure signed, the character signed. But he's like I said, I've reached out to multiple different people. Like I reached out to like Mitch from Grapplers and Gimmicks. He made a Bastion Booger. I'm like, hey, have you reached out? Have you verified with this person? Like, yeah, he's legit. I reached out to AJ, and he didn't come to terms with Pete or the Legacy Foundation or anything, but he verified, yes, he's legit. And I reached out to a couple other guys, a couple of other wrestlers, indie wrestlers,
Mm-hmm.
but they know Peter and everything, and they know that he works with the Legacy Foundation, so they too confirmed with me. So before I paid anybody, I wanted to make sure that this obviously was correct and everything. So I felt confident that once they were paid, I was golden. So
Oh, yeah, I think Mustard's right. Yeah, they can't own your name. If his real name was Mike Shaw, WWE, WWF can't trademark that or copyright it or whatever the term is. I think it's John Cena. That's his real name, isn't it? So, so he can keep that. Can't trademark that, so that helps. He gets all the money, I guess, from everything with his name on it. I don't know how the Hulk Hogan IP works. I think did he end up with it? His estate, and then he licensed it. I mean, I assume Hogan and his estate makes money every time they sell a new figure or T-shirt. I think that's part of those legend contracts too that they'll sign. Hey, we'll help you out. We'll give you a steady income, but we get your name back if we didn't have it or whatever. So now all your figures get made through our contracts with Mattel or whoever we're doing, or Fanatics. All your T-shirts now are Fanatics, pro wrestling tees or whatever. Hopefully, it's mutually beneficial. Oh yeah, because there was that thing with Marvel's like, hey, wait a minute, you're calling him the Hulk. It's obviously based off character. Yeah. That could be too. I wonder if some of them just paid to get their IP back, their name. Like his Macho Man. Does he call all of the Macho Man stuff? Says Macho Man Randy Savage on it, doesn't it?
Yeah, okay.
So I wonder if his estate owns that or they bought it back, or I wonder how that worked. Andre the Giant. I wonder maybe he owned that because he was also kind of an independent wrestler for so long. And that could have been even before, WWE got better at that. I think locking down those names and likenesses. I don't know. When Macho and Hogan and them first started, it wasn't a big market for figures and T-shirts and stuff like that. That was still developing. So maybe they didn't know or think to lock down their names either. Nowadays, of course, I think in fact that's why they changed some of their names is so they put it down on purpose. Let alone maybe if the name's owned by previous, like they've imported a few AW wrestlers. Those names might have been owned by AW as well, so they had to change them, but they're doing it on purpose. typically, so that they can also trademark or whatever they have to do. What was it? Ricky Saints now is his new name. Ricky Starks used to be his old name. What if Ricky is his real name? Or Powerhouse Hobbs, he's got a dumb name now. Well, dumb to me, but I think it's based on family members, so probably not dumb to him, but it's like, I forget what it was. Royce Keys or something like that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Macho got out of it or if maybe they never owned it, or maybe we don't know. But apparently Macho's estate somehow owns the ability to make stuff based upon Macho Man, because AJ from the Toonies not having it kick back to Mattel, I don't think, right, for all the Macho figures he's making. Actually, does Mattel make any Macho figures right now?
I mean, just in the Elite figures, I would imagine.
Haven't they? They have been.
I mean, probably not recently, but I mean, I'm pretty sure they've come out with like, Mattel Retros, for example. But I mean, I've seen a couple back then. That's about it. Like
Bobby
earlier Elite, maybe, but
they should have. Bobby WrestleBoy would have been a good name for Bob Backlund. Bobby WrestleBoy. Your new heavyweight champion of the world, Bobby WrestleBoy.
That's funny.
I like that name. That could have been fun. I think Backlund's still around, isn't he? I think he's still taking.
Is he?
Of course, he's been in good shape for a while.
I mean, he'd be about 70-something years old, so yeah, I could see it.
Should I look up
70 pushing 80?
I searched for Bobby WrestleBoy, but it didn't come up. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, 1949. So what is that? 76. Yeah, another Minnesota wrestler, Robert Louis Backlund. I don't think I knew that. But yep, still around, 76. But now, wait, I just cursed him. I think he's always been.
Is that the same address from Breaking Bad? That's funny.
Is that what that is? I was wondering because it says Walter White. He didn't list Albuquerque, New Mexico, or else that would have been a dead giveaway. Albuquerque, I think. Yeah, it's New Mexico. Okay, let's close that. I'll keep looking at it if Maddie and Jimmy.
Hey, what's going on, Galena? Welcome to the show.
That's interesting. You learn all about the wrestling world that you didn't know as a kid. Likenesses and owning rights and IP and all that stuff. Oh, yeah, it's Bobby. Yeah, let's get up Bobby WrestleBoy. Could that be one of your characters? In Series 2? I don't know what that would be. And it's now Pestilence versus Bobby WrestleBoy.
Well, we got to kind of redo a Bob Backlund figure anyways, because the one that we got a few years ago was really bad. But
you talked about that, yeah. From it was a custom.
This one.
Watch TV.
This is the Roddy Piper movie.
I was thinking, I didn't know if it was based on that, but that's definitely the looks from, yeah.
They Live.
Mm-hmm. Came here.
Roddy Piper movie. Oh, yeah.
Came here to kick ass and chew gum and a lot of gum. Which I think you can get that T-shirt at Pro Wrestle Tees or one of those places. So is he available, the Piper estate, or is he locked up by WWF?
I would say WWF has the rights to it, but I mean, would I
maybe not if it's
would I make a Roddy Piper? Probably not, for a couple of reasons. One, he already has an original LJN.
He does.
And number two, Random Treasures. Kevin Pelkey already made a Random Treasures figure as well.
That's pretty good.
And I actually bought all three variants from Random Treasures. And to me, I think that's like one of the most perfect LJN figures ever made.
Nothing to improve on is what you're saying, right?
Yeah. So
I'm just a big Piper fan, so that's why I'm like selfishly, I don't see another Piper figure, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
I mean, they basically it was a Don Rocco pose for the Roddy Piper, but it was spectacular. I mean, with the built-on kilt and everything, I mean, it was perfect.
Do you like the Don Rocco LJN? Is there any room for improvement there? I don't know if he's available though.
I mean, Don Rocco's it was a fine figure. It wasn't like the greatest ever, but I mean, it was mid-card, among the line. Probably a top 45, top 50 best. So like it. color to on it was fine.
Because
Red and black.
he comes up quite
It's
a bit in that OVP thing I watched. Because they were watching
Yeah.
in the early '80s. So Morocco, Johnny Rods, he was kind of an enhancement talent. I wonder if he's available. He's still around. He's one of their
But I
too.
would,
Johnny Rods. You know what I'm talking about?
yeah. I mean, I would make. I want a Barry Horowitz.
Yeah, he's
And
available.
here's the thing, because KWK has a Barry Horowitz, and if I work with Sean, we could probably everything that you're getting KWK retro figures. Why not try to get those same guys in LGN form?
Mm-hmm. And they're not going to.
And
I don't think KWK is interested in LGN form, right?
no.
So you could. Yeah.
Hey, Galena, shoot.
Galena has a controversial question for you. Who is your daddy and what does he do?
Good movie.
I can never
You
not
guys
remember
have
that quote. I can never not remember that quote. Not a tumor. Not a tumor. Yeah.
I swear to God, I think everybody from Illinois has seen Kindergarten Cop. Like, I feel like that was like a staple in the state.
It's an Illinois thing. I would assume everybody's seen Kindergarten Cop. Though
I don't know. I feel like
in a meeting earlier,
like especially in Chicago. Like, I feel like every Chicagoan has seen that movie.
I feel like everyone has seen it. Is the story in Illinois? I don't remember that part.
No.
You just because you knew a lot of people who saw it.
Like I failed to meet anyone that's from Chicago or the Chicagoland area that has not seen Kindergarten Cop.
So it came up on a meeting this week, and it might be because I'm older than a lot of my coworkers, old enough at least. And I mentioned Johnny Five needing input, and at least 2/3 of the people had no idea what I was talking about. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Short Circuit, yeah.
Yeah, they had no idea, and I'm like, is it that old of a movie? Input, need more input. Right? And he's reading all the books. Oh, need input. I had no idea what I was talking about.
Like I didn't care for the first one. I liked the second one better.
Oh, that's interesting.
And for whatever reason, like I think this, and I know it's not the first one, but like I always treat the second movie as the first one, especially when they start getting the freaking the song at the end. Oh God, Bonnie Tyler at the end.
The second one, I don't remember that.
When that song comes on, holding out for a hero.
Is that in Short Circuit too as well? I remember that from Footloose. I think it was, wasn't it? Was it Footloose as well? That's a good song. Holding out for a hero. Don't want to make Bad Blood here. That's a different song? I think that's a Taylor Swift song. I think it is actually. I think I've seen the video. Bad Blood. I think that's what it's called. Now I'm thinking of Bloodline with Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns. Glene's being coy. So it's not who's your daddy, what does he do? And then of course the little kid. Boys have a penis, girls have a vagina. You're like a lot of kindergarten Cop's very cool. A lot of Schwarzenegger movies are very cool. Not just him. I guess we'll wait on the question. That's interesting. I haven't heard that about Kindergarten Cop. I think most people I've ran into have seen it, so I didn't think about it like a Chicago thing or a state thing. Oh, Kindergarten Cop. I kind of want to see it again. Is that on streaming somewhere? Probably.
Most likely.
I think that was. Oh yeah, it was after talking with Bum. We talked about The Critic, and I think his sister also liked The Critic. And I looked it up, and it was on Tubi, and I think maybe Plex as well. So I've signed up for Tubi finally. It's one of those free with ads, so I probably never looked at it before, but if that's the only place I can get The Critic. So I watched the first 2 episodes earlier this week. It was kind of neat to watch them again.
You know, other movie I haven't seen in a long time that was like a staple in our house growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Freaking Problem Child.
Oh yeah,
and Problem Child 2
with John Ritter. Rest in peace. They made a couple of them, didn't they? 2 or 3 or something.
And that kid grew up, and he looks as creepy as an adult as he did as a kid.
Does he? I never thought to look him up. He did look kind of a weird kid, didn't he?
Junior Healy. Oh God.
Problem Child 7. Problem Child versus Predator. Why don't we have that movie? Predator would probably lose that one too.
When he to the carnival and he starts screwing with all of the brides, and everybody starts puking on each other, I'm like, that's like easily the greatest part of the entire movie. That, or when he gets the chubby kid and he tapes him to the chalkboard. I'm like, how the hell do you get that kid up on the damn chalkboard? Like, how?
That's a lot of tape.
How?
I've seen some people try to reenact, maybe not that scene, but just taping some up and see how much duct tape or whatever you need to hold somebody's body weight like that. I think it's surprisingly a lot, but surprisingly not as much as you might expect either.
But yeah, man, that darn like I like Prom Child 2 better than the first one, but I mean,
another sequel for you, huh?
Again, it's probably because I mean it's better. Movies I feel like are always better the second time around than the first ones because they're more established. You know the characters, you know their backstory, you know the history or whatever. So that's why
okay.
Sequels are always preferable.
But I don't think John Ritter was in the second one, was he?
Yeah, he was.
Was he in the second one? Okay, so maybe was it the same kid too? I don't remember the second one at all.
Yeah.
I don't remember the second one at all. Look that up.
Always with that question. What's up with that?
What, the pooping? A lot of people are into oops, I guess. I'm not sure how you or I look like we haven't pooped. And why people are interested in our pooping habits. But.
Hey, it must be relevant. Oh god, that's so stupid.
Into pooping. Everybody poops.
But yeah, man.
They even wrote a book about it. I think, or is that a mythical book? I've never actually seen that book. I've never potty trained anyone. I don't remember reading that book when I was potty trained, but it's a mythical book. Maybe I haven't looked at Amazon. Maybe it's out there. Can I get the ebook for Everybody Poops? And actually, kids nowadays they're born on iPads and tablets and stuff. They probably read that book on an ebook.
Yeah, man, I got to go this Tuesday. Have an appointment for H&R Block, so I'm gonna try to get my taxes.
Yeah, 'tis the season.
And man, I know last year like I had to pay like over $500 to do my taxes, and I'm like, that's such a freaking ripoff.
They charge a lot.
And I didn't even get that much back either. And I'm like, when you pay more for them to prepare your taxes than we get back, I'm like, man, I feel like it's gonna be the exact same thing this year.
Could be worse. You could pay $500 for the pleasure of now paying the federal government more money.
Mm-hmm.
Have you tried to do it yourself? Are your taxes complicated or anything?
Well, I remember like TurboTax. I remember doing that by myself back in like 2007, I think, when I got back. So I got back at the end of 2006. And because I was like gone like the entire year, I was tax exempt. And I remember I jumped on TurboTax to do my taxes by myself, and that way I didn't have to pay anybody. And I remember like I only got like $100 back or something. I'm like, man, why did I do this myself? I screwed this up big time. And then I forgot. It didn't occur to me at that time. Like I didn't realize this for a long time that hey, I was tax exempt for the entire year of 2006. And I only paid taxes for like the last month and a half. So getting $100 back was actually probably correct. And I probably did my taxes the correct way. So,
ironically, I do my own taxes, but I use H&R Block software. It's a little cheaper than TurboTax.
Medical concerns.
The other person coming on with the Peter B's a pedophile. Did he say something? I admit I haven't followed Peter that. Yes, I like bums back to the bum talk though. So did you poop and what's the wiping like? And I'm not kidding, bidet for the win. Those are pretty easy to install. You don't have to get a fancy one either. I know I bought my nephew one and he was weirdly excited. It felt weird buying him a bidet that he was excited about. Just an attachment you attach to the water line that feeds into your toilet. It works pretty well. I think it was Daniel Tosh or someone who made that video. Have you ever taken a shower and then you immediately had to poo? You feel like you have to start your whole day over again because the order's wrong. You got to poop first and then take a shower. No, it's fine. Do I have to take another shower again? There's something to that effect. He said it better than I did. Poo talk, like the movies and TV shows.
It's not so much making a deal with one person as much as making a deal with, family of someone else.
Mm-hmm.
If that's the representative, I got to do what I got to do, right? To get the wrestler I need. And he's representative. And
Curious what Peter said.
I saw that interview, and
it was in an interview. He said, "Was this one of Bum's famous gotcha interviews?"
No, man. It was an interview that the man made 8 years ago.
Oh.
And he made a 0.25-second statement, and now the freak out is over a 0.25. I know what he did. And I think this was him trying to be a heel, trying to be the bad guy, and parlay this character, this gimmick, to the interviewer. And there are no police reports. There's no what do you call it?
I like Bum said, no charges have been filed or accusations, whatever. Because you're right. Imagine some of the things that wrestlers used to do back in the day to draw heat. Could you do that anymore in today's environment? You probably couldn't. If that's really what he was doing, I haven't seen it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. There's no police reports. There's been zero accusations over the course of his entire life, and you're taking this 0.25-second clip where he was intentionally trying to be the bad guy, parlaying this bad guy heel gimmick. And do I agree? Of course not. Nobody does. But I know what he was trying to do. We can all see what he was trying to do, but it was just a very poor choice of words. And I could look at it like so and be like, hey, this guy made a mistake. He tried the wrong thing, trying to parlay that gimmick. I mean, we could either look at it as, hey, this is a good guy that made a stupid bonehead comment, and that maybe I'm sure he completely regrets it, and we brought it to his attention that he would be eternally remorseful for it. Or people can jump to conclusion and make these accusations now when there've never been accusations before, and call him names when it's probably undeserving.
Because it happened 8 years ago, right?
I mean,
kind of like when they dig up tweets you did 10 years ago, and I think is what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, you watch that interview in its entirety. It was a good, fun interview, but it's ruined by this 0.25-second clip, a second segment where he made a stupid comment. And I'm like, and I saw that because, it was brought to my attention, hey, watch this interview. I watched the interview, so I was waiting for that portion, and I'm like, dude, like, I know like we were left once I saw that, and I'm right there with everyone else. But we can either sit there and bash him for being an idiot, making a stupid comment, or we can look at the overall body of work. And this is just a good guy that's just said something incredibly stupid. We have all been there and said stupid stuff or done stupid stuff. Okay, I freaking got drunk on my live streams and passed out for 2 hours. Okay, I did that to my freaking viewers. I passed out on you guys. I'm apologetic. Like, I don't want to do a live stream and pass out on you guys, but I'm pretty sure a lot of my viewers come back like, hey, dude, you enjoy the sleep or something, you'll laugh about it, but like that's something I'm sorry about doing. Like, I don't want to get that drunk, but
that's true.
Until there's something where we can sit back and say 100%, yeah, this man has done horrible things, but I don't want to besmirch this man and make accusations when it could be 100% inaccurate and bold-faced lies and ruin a man's life, ruin his reputation over something that someone else is putting out there that could be completely inaccurate. So
I mean, unfortunately, I think Mustard is making some good points that, especially in this day and age, even though they say go woke, go broke sometimes, this kind of thing. And unfortunately, Pete looks the part for a lot of people of a pedophile. I don't know what he said, but you know how much, like I said, every person I ever see get arrested looks just like some old white dude, almost to a T. But that's not what people think of when they think of pedophile. And that's all they care about is getting convicted in the court of public opinion. I haven't seen, I haven't seen the interview. But if it is problematic, I don't know what to do though. I mean, I think it'd behoove you to probably talk with Mike Shaw's family and his foundation direct anyway. Is this interview on YouTube or anything like that? I'd have to check it out. Who interviewed him? Was it like a wrestling mag or a wrestling person, or was it even wrestling related?
Yeah, he's got
I
a
don't know much
small
about
YouTube. It didn't get a lot of views. I think he only has like 50 subscribers or something, but he has like a lot of interviews with wrestlers and stuff. So
Okay,
I mean, he's been.
Yeah. And if it hurts your business, it could be. I doubt he is. He might not be a pedophile, but unfortunately, I don't know if it matters. Is I think the point some people are making is that he looks the part, and if he said something like that, even if it was 8 years ago, it could be problematic. I haven't seen it though. I'm speaking outside and telling tales outside. There's something about no publicity is bad publicity. Controversy could sell. Yeah, I don't know. It's a tough find. Of course, is he still wrestling? Peter Be Beautiful? Man, that's such a fun name too. I hope he's not a jag-off jerk pedophile, but Peter Be Beautiful is such a great name. Giuseppe Corona. Really?
And that's just the thing. I'm not prepared to when I've spoken to the man, he seems like a legit, down to earth, normal human being. So I'm not prepared to call him out and call him these names when I don't know the truth. I'm not prepared to ruin his reputation, ruin his life unless there's actual proof that hey, this man is doing these things, and there isn't, like, literally never any accusations, like, until someone put out his accusation because he has a thing with gay people.
You think it was motivated?
He went searching for this, so
it was motivated because of his look, and that's possible. But that's still, the optics could be bad, or I guess could be good if it's commercial enough. I don't know.
And Peter's not even gay. Like, he has a wife, he has kids. So I mean, it's like Goldust or Adrian Adonis.
Right,
they weren't gay. They're portraying a character. So you got to realize that he's not a gay man. He's just portraying a gimmick. So people keep looking at him like, oh, he's this gay man. He's a child abuse. Like, no, he's not, dude. Like, people gotta stop that. You're seeing a 0.25 second clip, and then you're seeing this other clip where they see him walking around the schoolyard or whatever, and like, oh my god, he's such a creep. Like, dude, stop. Like, where's this coming from? You're watching one person's video, and it doesn't tell you the whole story. You're seeing one person's perception, and I'm sorry, but I don't agree with that perception. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe everyone else is right. I don't know the truth, but the point is, I don't think everyone else knows the truth either. And I'm not arguing for this side, just like I'm not arguing for this side, because I'm right here because I don't know. All I know is that he made a really dumb statement, and I agree it was a really dumb statement. I think if you were to talk to him, he would tell you the same thing. Like, hey, dude, I effed up. Like, that was stupid as hell. Like, I made, like, I was trying to say something something like really hardcore, and that just kind of came out. Like, men in prison, I want to take advantage or, overpower you or something. But like, why I had to use that particular word, especially when talking about a kid.
Okay.
I understand, like, where the anger is coming from.
Yeah, I've heard some really bad jokes and some comedians. You can't walk it back once you say it, if that's what he's going for. Like I said, I haven't seen the video. I think they still make a good point about maybe wanting to make sure that you are really dealing with Mike Shaw and family. Yeah, I don't know. This is not big enough. I don't know. You're not Mattel. I don't know if Peter
Yeah.
could possibly sink you, but I don't know enough about him at all. I really don't. You mentioned him before. That was the first time I heard. And then, like Lena said, as soon as you mentioned him and his gimmick, I'm like, oh yeah, he's like a modern Adrian Adonis. That's as far as I know about him, though.
Yeah.
That was so sad when Adonis disappeared too. I didn't really know what happened to him. And then he died in a car accident. Adrian Adonis did. Yeah, that's why I don't know enough. So that'd be some people who've worked with Shaw's Foundation independently of Peter. Who did you mention? The people at KWK, have they signed Bastion Booger?
No.
Who
No.
have,
So grappling gimmicks.
Okay.
Yeah, when I talked to Mitch, he said that he went through Peter as well. So
Oh, okay. Well, maybe that is the case then. Maybe we don't. Yeah, I mean, because that's a big company now. Like everybody knows graphics and gimmicks. Maybe that is the way. I mean, because you're saying I could see being in the limelight, like we talked about, would rather be rich or famous. I'd rather be rich. Being maybe that family wants nothing to do with anything. They don't want to think about contracts. They don't want to think about being in the public eye. Maybe Peter is their spokesman. So I wonder if they worry about that too. But I mean, it did say. So who brought it to attention? You said somebody who's anti-gay maybe brought it to our attention. He said this 8 years ago or something like that. Huh. Yeah, but I mean, grapplers and gimmicks, that's a big company. He signed a lot of talent. What, Mitch? Is his last name Pastel? I assume based on the name. Or is that name something else? I don't know the origin.
Ralston.
Where's the Hastel come from? Because it's such a funny spelling.
That's just their business name.
It's interesting.
They're a brick and mortar store.
Okay, I've just wondered where the name came from. I just kind of assumed it was his last name or something. I knew Mitch from I think one of the bum boxing, actually unboxing figure and stuff. Like, oh, his name's Mitch, but I didn't realize it wasn't Hastel. I think I just kind of
Mitch Ralston is the owner of Hastel Toys.
I saw that on the back of the card. I finally put my Oz figure. Yeah, but for some people it might be Crunchy. That's the problem, I think. Is some people still, for some reason, are scared of gay people or LGBTQ. He might be getting painted with that for a bit. And so when he says something like that 8 years ago, yesterday, not quite an hour and 50 minutes, hour and 47. I don't know what that is. Let's see if Waddy comes back. Is he back? Yep, there he is. Well, I think that's the problem, Galena, is that I don't care, and maybe you don't care, but some people still do care about this stuff, unfortunately. People aren't as enlightened as we'd like them to be. I don't know the history. I'm just kind of guessing because there are some people that really burn the torch. Ironically, the people that seem to be most anti-gay secretly hate themselves, if you know what I'm saying. They were not allowed to be gay when they wanted to be, so they take it out on the rest of the world. There have been many of those cases. I'm not saying that's the case here, but I've seen people motivated to say this kind of thing. I don't know the history, and I don't care. I mean, gay, straight, anything, furry. I was watching an episode. I don't understand it myself because, in fact, it was over the 4th of July and it was hot, and I think they were treating for heat stroke. I'm like, yeah, I think being in a furry costume outside on the 4th of July would be pretty hot. I don't really care, but some people still do, unfortunately, and it sucks. Oh, really? Yeah, see, I still don't know the professor either. I'm missing out on all this stuff because I think my problem is I don't follow up on a lot of this stuff. As soon as this live stream's off, I'll go and, like right now, I'll probably go watch basketball because it's March Madness. It's like the only time I watch basketball all year is March. I think I like tournaments. So like when you do your figure tournaments, I like that. I like the basketball tournament. See like the 10 seed beat the 7 seed or whatever the heck, all the upsets and stuff. So I don't think there've been as many upsets unless you're a Wisconsin fan, as usual. But so I'll probably watch that, or I'll get caught. I might watch wrestling on YouTube, but it might be Wrestle Me, or I'll watch the VP podcast, or maybe I'll catch up on Jim Cornette. He's going to review the latest AEW pay-per-view, which was kind of interesting, as usual. So I want to see him denigrate AEW again. That never gets old, him getting angry about stuff. So I always forget about these characters. I don't know anything about Professor, or you've mentioned, some of these people in the past. I've yet to look up Peter Be Beautiful. I feel like I should. Because I don't know if I liked Adrian Adonis because I was a kid. But looking at him now, you kind of see what he put up with because Vince was kind of torturing him. He gave him that, gay character essentially in the flower shop and stuff. So it's interesting now as an adult I can understand kind of what was going on. And then he was like one of those guys like Dino Bravo. I wasn't a Dino Bravo fan, but I was also kind of curious, like, why did he disappear? Because I didn't know about Meltzer, and the Wrestling Observer and the dirt sheets and all that stuff. I was a kid. I didn't have the internet. I was just watching Hulk Hogan beat up, the Russians or whatever. So then when a character disappears, you're just kind of like, well, oh yeah, what happened to him? I don't know. Then later on, you find out, oh yeah, Dino Bravo was probably assassinated by the mob in Canada. You're like, what? Why was that not mentioned? Or Adrian Adonis died in a car accident. I'm pretty sure it's a car accident. That's why they disappeared. They went and did independent wrestling. Well, Dino, I think, didn't wrestle anymore. But I think Adonis was actually driving to or from a show in Canada somewhere. I think in Newfoundland even. When I think they slid off the road and 2 of the 3 died or something like that.
Yeah.
How long are you going today? 2 hours? Ooh, 20 hours.
Yeah.
We're raising money for something? St. Jude Children's Hospital? What are we? No, I'm just kidding. I feel bad making. I made a joke. No.
Yeah, we're at 8:50 right now, so I'm probably gonna go to about 9:00. Yeah, I'm thinking about 2 hours.
That was quick. I only know because we did the reset at hour 47. I still don't know what that is. I forget to look that up too. I'm curious. I don't know why a technical reason why it would reset, but every time it does. Every time you do a live stream, if you last that long, it's very strange.
Let's see.
Hey, Kelvin's back. Yeah, Chuck. But like I said, I mean, it's weird to see. Yeah, definitely got to protect yourself. It's weird to see your childhood people, adults, heroes, whatever. Chuck Norris pass away, but he did sound like he lived a long, fruitful life at 86.
Yeah, that's the important thing right there.
It's your buddy. I can't remember his name from Buffy. Was it Nick? That died at like
Nicholas
54.
Brendon.
Yeah, that died at like 54. Even no matter his past transgressions and his drinking problems and all that stuff, 54 is pretty young. And not just because I'll be approaching it sooner rather than later. Selfishly, I'm thinking of myself too. I'm like, 54 is not as far away as it used to be. And he passed away.
Rock and Roll Express. Yeah, we were. we were just talking about that right at the beginning of the stream.
I think Midnight
Celebrities that die in threes.
I'm a Cornette fan, so Midnight Express. But yeah, they're
What I say?
Rock and Roll.
What I say? Rock and Roll Express. Oh, my bad.
But I mean, admittedly, I didn't watch a lot of that wrestling, so I only got Condrey and like Stan Lane, who's still around, Bob Eaton, who's not. And that's actually what's going to be sad is this week on the Cornette show. He's going to break down because I know when Bob Eaton passed away a couple years ago, it really hurt him. The Midnight Express is disappearing. And luckily I did buy, and I think if you want to, shameless plug for Jim Cornette, he's got some of those wrestling figures out there. It might be a good time to pick up. He's got like a Midnight Express, I think 40th anniversary or something like that with a book and stuff. That was pretty good. And he'll sign it for you and stuff. The figures are that Figures toy company that aren't very good, but it's really more the center of the thing. I think actually Condrey's family gets part of the money. So that might be a backdoor way to raise some funds and add to your collection. Don't quote me on that. You might investigate that. I think there is a GoFundMe though, if you're big in the Midnight Express and Dennis Condrey. A lot of that wrestling I missed because it was before my time and all we had was WWF because that was on TV. I had to catch up on it later. That's a good.
Silent Rage.
I mean, he was 74, so he was not a young chicken. I don't know if he had any health concerns. I didn't actually look that up. I just kind of assumed it's 74 because, like, my dad was around that age, but he also had cancer that had gone into remission. But the older you get, sure, we all like to live to 86, maybe. Well, maybe not, depending on what shape you're in. If Chuck Norris was in bad shape at 86, maybe he didn't want to live there either. But 74 is pretty decent, especially all the traveling and bumps he took. Some wrestlers, Scott Hall. How old was he? How about like Rick Rude? He didn't make it into his mid 40s, and that guy was in great shape. And I don't think he took as many, if any, steroids like a lot of them. I don't know if he had any other. I don't think he took any drug. I don't know that Rick Rude had any drug issues. Kurt Hennig did.
See, I'm gonna say this much right now. I'm gonna live to at least 115 because I got to make it to the next century.
Oh yeah. I kind of take it for granted we lived through one because now I might not see another one. Right? I was just kind of at the time Y2K was it like whoop-de-doo, it's year 2000. But yeah, how about Y3K? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna live to be 115. I'm gonna be like, hey, I've lived in 3 separate centuries.
Do you want to though? What shape will you be in when you're 115 or whatever, right? Head in a jar. Yeah, you'd be like on Futurama. You'd be next to Nixon.
Head in a jar. Oh man.
Lone Wolf McQuaid is probably my top one. Oh yeah, did you have a favorite? I was not a big Chuck Norris fan, so I don't really have a My favorite was all the jokes. The Chuck Norris jokes are great, and they still are pretty funny. And because they're still making him now, kind of in a sad way. Yeah, like mustard dope heel kick. But what was it like? Chuck Norris was the only man to count to infinity twice. Some of those jokes are kind of fun. Yeah, I don't know when we first discovered it, but it was a long time ago. And like I said, I was never big into Chuck Norris and those kind of action movies. I don't know why I missed it. Because I probably would have enjoyed him. I liked the follow-on similar type of Jean-Claude Van Damme and who was the guy? Steven Seagal and those type of things. So I think I would have enjoyed him. I just never saw him. I guess nobody in my friends and family.
I have never looked at Steven Seagal as a legitimate martial artist.
Apparently he was, though. Van Damme, I don't know that. I don't think Van Damme was, but Steven Seagal apparently trained
I think
in Japan.
he was. I mean,
yeah, I forget what it was.
Van Damme, I think he was.
It just
but
wasn't as
Steven
flashy
Seagal
as Bruce Lee and Chuck and them, right? It wasn't a flash.
He keeps talking about like him being like this amazing martial artist, and you look at him today, and like he's on TikTok. Oh yeah, like here's me barely tapping this guy, and like this guy falls back, like he just got knocked the hell out by like Bruce Lee or something.
He's
and I'm like, that is like, how is this martial arts? Like, dude, you're like, you came up to him, like you come up to a guy, barely tap him like this, and the guy pretends to jump back. Like, oh my god, this is like the fakest wrestling I've ever seen in my life.
He could definitely.
This is worse than.
Yeah.
I'm like, I mean, this is you're basically trying to say that this guy is a black belt martial artist. Can you get the hell out of here?
He pushes the world down. That's a good one. Oh yeah, he is. It's just I never got into Chuck Norris, though. I mean, like I say, Steven Seagal. Oh, did he? Okay, I don't know that Van Damme was classically trained in the martial arts, but before Seagal was Steven Seagal and you knew him, he did go to Japan and he apparently trained. I just don't remember what the art was. It wasn't one of the flashier ones, but he could do those body weight movements. I forget what it was, but apparently he legitimately did. I'm not saying though that some of the stuff you saw on TikTok wasn't staged, but apparently at least at one point he was like a legit martial artist. So I remember enjoying his movies, Seagal and Van Damme. You'd watch him like, oh, Van Damme's got a new movie out where he's, a security guard at a Pittsburgh Penguins game or whatever it was, and now he's got to affect a Louisiana accent, which was kind of, you kind of get into it. Van Damme was with Rodman in a movie too, I think, if I remember correctly, right? Like Double Trouble or something like that.
Rodman. Which movie was this?
I think it was Double Trouble or something like that. It wasn't very good because really, I mean,
I don't remember that one.
Rodman's not a great actor, of course, but for some reason I never got Chuck, and I've just maybe it was before my time a little bit. Nobody turned me on to Chuck Norris movies, so I never got into him. But I knew of him with the jokes are just so funny. Pushes the world down. But yeah, I don't know what it was. Yeah, I'm kind of wondering. Steven Seagal's got a problematic history too now. As far as I know, Van Damme's okay. I think he just stopped getting work. But that's interesting about the TikToks. I haven't seen those, but I have seen some of those. I think somebody went and interviewed him. There was a YouTube rabbit hole I went down one day, and he was showing him in the dojo and doing the stuff, and like you're saying, and poking him there, and he fights back, whatever. Like, yeah, it may or may not be true. I mean, I watch wrestling, so I can get into it. If it's
famous people who think they're still mega superstars, but they're like crazy because nobody in the public thinks they are.
Oh,
and obviously Steven Seagal is always on that list of Hollywood actors or whoever that think they're like in the know, but they're not. And I was surprised to see Jared Leto's name on that list. Because I do think of Jared Leto as, a top list celebrity. I mean, Morbius might have sucked, but I mean, that was still, a freaking Marvel movie. I thought he played a pretty good Joker. I mean, he played it too much like a mobster and not so psychotic like a Jack Nicholson or like a Heath Ledger. But I mean, he put his own take on the Joker. So I thought Suicide Squad, I thought he did a good job. And of course, in the 90s, My So-Called Life. I mean, that's obviously what I know him best from. So
he was in that? I never watched that either. Jared Leto, is that where you got to start? Okay. I never saw it.
I don't know if that's necessarily where he got to start, but I mean, that's definitely one of the most famous things that he was in. So
yeah. I've never seen it. Once again, it wouldn't have been with the Chuck Norris movies, apparently. I just never got around to it. But I do. Was Claire Danes or somebody in that? Was that Her TV show.
Claire Danes. Yep. Mm-hmm.
I know enough, but I never saw it. Why did that? Was that on a WB as well or something like that? Maybe that's why I didn't see it. Did he for real?
Basic army training.
So you could tell us, but then you'd have to kill us. You ever hear that? I would love to say that for real. No, I'd like to tell you, but then I have to kill you.
He does think he's Jesus, doesn't he?
Did he? Or is it because he's like, what do they call that? Where you really get into the character you're playing? Is it one of those shticks that the actors sometimes do?
He does think he's Jesus. He does, actually. He does. You look at him, he does freaking try to come off as Jesus, though. Same face and hair and everything. I'm like, damn, man.
Oh, because of his look. Yeah, I don't know. Does he really believe he's Jesus, or is it just his look? Jared, hasn't he been creepy or something? Does he have a thing too? I don't know. It's hard to keep up. I don't know if he's been creepy on women or something.
He just has like a weird shtick, man. Like he's just a weird actor, but
it's funny to call.
I think that's just
outside of wrestling, but you can kind of call it a gimmick. You just don't think about it in non-wrestling context, but it is kind of a similar idea, isn't it? He might have a weird gimmick, even though he's not a wrestler.
Like I saw Jared Leto on the list, right? I thought I was surprised by that, and Steven Seagal definitely. I mean, he's definitely belongs on the list. I was surprised to see Jennifer Lopez on that list. Like, apparently she's someone that still thinks she's super popular, super famous, when apparently she's not. And I'm like, Jennifer Lopez isn't famous anymore? When did this happen?
Well, when's the last thing she's been in, though, actually? Now I think about it. What has she been in? Or she doesn't sing anymore, I don't think, does she?
Yeah. So Jared Leto has a cult? Man, that's crazy.
That's what they're saying. Yeah, that's wacky. Really? He's not that great. Why are they in this cult? It's not like End of Days cult, I don't think, is it? But that's interesting. He's got a cult. I wonder why. Like, is it because is he partially attractive, I guess? Is he an attractive guy? Is that why he has cult followers? Yeah, Rambo. Oh, okay. There is actually, and it's a pretty good figure. The Big Rubber Guys have a Rambo figure I bought. I haven't seen Chuck Norris yet, though, from the Big Rubber Guys or anyone else. But the Rambo figure is actually pretty good. You got that one, too, didn't you, from Collect Major?
Yeah, I got Rambo and I got the Kickboxer, but I still need the one with the bloody diaper.
I think it might still be on there. Yeah, it might still be on
there. I've never looked at his freaking shorts, whatever you want to call them, as a diaper, and not until you start calling it the bloody diaper, and I'm like, man, now I gotta steal that. Now I gotta start calling it a bloody diaper from now on.
I didn't come up with it. I heard somebody else say the same thing because I think it was on Facebook or something. Like, no, I'll pass. I don't need Van Damme in a bloody diaper. And I'm like, you think that is a bloody diaper? Okay, I guess so. You wouldn't say that to that guy he was fighting, right? They were doing was it glue or wax or something? Then they dipped their hands in the broken glass and they punch each other with that.
Mm-hmm.
Tell him he's wearing a diaper. He'd beat the shit out of you.
Tung Po, whatever his name was.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Tung
Po, maybe? I really just watched a couple weeks ago and I already forgot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember the Chuck Norris figures. I didn't have any of them, of course, because then I would have probably watched the movies. Then again, I didn't have any Rambo figures. I don't think Van Damme with any kickboxer figures.
The only reason I know about the darn Chuck Norris figures is because Jason had them on his channel, and he's like, yeah, I'm getting ready to list these on eBay or something. And
how old were they? Do you remember? What are we talking, like
1980s, I think.
Yeah. So probably worth something?
I think he got like $100 for like a whole collection.
Oh, well, maybe.
But I think if he probably sold them on like Marketplace, it probably would have gone for like $300 to $500.
I was going to say, it feels bad to say now, but probably it'd be worth more.
Yeah.
Right? Not that he needs to get more out of them. I don't know. Oh, is it? Oh, there you go. Yeah. Because it's old from the 80s and stuff. Well, yeah, because Rambo first came out probably, was it late 70s, early 80s? It's an older movie, isn't it? I wonder what those figures look like. I never collected those. I had G.I. Joes, Transformers. The original He-Man figures, are they worth something? They probably are, aren't they? Had a few of those.
I mean, I've been buying up a lot of those He-Man figures, but like, I stopped. Like, I really had no interest in them. Like, I bought a bunch of those just for the sake of saying, hey, I got some He-Man for the collection. Mm-hmm. Because I kind of wanted to move away from just wrestling for the room downstairs.
Oh, okay.
And I wanted to have like a lot of a lot of 80s vintage stuff, so I started getting, Thundercats, and started getting He-Man, and I started thinking, okay, here's like American Gladiators. Like I thought American Gladiators would be like a really easy line to collect. And then all of a sudden all these art figures are like $40 a piece. And I'm like, Jesus, I thought these were supposed to be like $2, $3 each, carded.
You said American
And I'm like,
Gladiators?
American Gladiators.
Nice.
And I'm like,
I remember
and I'm
watching
like,
that.
nah, forget this.
I don't remember the figures though.
A fun line I really wanted more of was Kenner's Swamp Thing. I thought that was really fun. And I started getting not only the carded figures, but I started getting like a lot of the box sets. And with American Gladiator, same thing. I was getting all the box sets first because the play sets are usually more expensive. You knock out the more expensive stuff first, getting the individual, carded figures are fine. But that Swamp Thing was like very expensive line to collect. So I'm like, after a while, I'm like, nah, I don't want to go for these anymore. I don't want to be paying $40, $60, $80 for a darn Swamp Thing action figure carded. So I'm like, no, it ain't worth it.
So you're wondering if I could window shop. I have a tendency to pull the trigger, but that might be kind of fun looking at some of these older figures. I definitely don't want to collect them though. So were those Rambos and stuff? Or no, what was it you were talking about? American Gladiators on card. Were those He-Mans all on card too that you were buying?
No, I got those all loose.
Do they have them on card though? I'm just curious what other lines people still have on card.
Yeah, they have them. I mean, I'm pretty sure if you buy any original 1980s on card, they're probably going to go for a couple $100 maybe.
Oh yeah, I'm assuming expensive.
But I mean, with all
it's still
the
baffling to me that anybody kept them on card from the 80s. But I think, like you said, it could have been store owners or toy shops or something they didn't sell. They kept the inventory or something like that.
But with all the re-releases, I mean, you could get all that stuff for like $20, $30 nowadays.
Yeah, but I just meant like for some people, the originals where it's at. Motu, actually, as a kid, I had some, but not as an adult. But I definitely had some He-Man figures as a kid because I remember what was the one? Wasn't there one that was like a battering ram and you push down something on his head and I think was his face revolve or something like that? Wasn't that a He-Man figure? Does that sound right to anybody? I know I had Castle Grayskull. I remember that set. I had the actual castle. Of course, He-Man. Wasn't that? Or am I getting that mixed up with? That wasn't a Thundercat thing. No, I don't think it was. I think that was He-Man. Does that sound familiar to you?
That may have been Ghostbusters, maybe.
I don't think so, but I think it did. I think I did have one or two Ghostbusters before. I don't think the Ghostbusters figures were very good. The He-Man figures.
That's another line I was collecting, Ghostbusters. And I mean, I got about a couple shelves worth of Ghostbuster figures, carded and loose. But man, I mean, how much was I going to collect on Ghostbusters? There's certain lines I wanted, and I could sit back and say, hey, I got enough to say, hey, here's something for the collection, and that's about it. But what lines like really inspire me? Now, if I wanted to go back and actually sell the stuff, and if I were to get the money back that I paid for the stuff, I mean, I could probably eliminate a good chunk of what I have and earn back enough profit to actually be able to afford what I need to, buy these figures for this current line I'm making, right? And really get this line off the ground. But it was time consuming. Like it really took a lot of effort to go searching, tracking this stuff down. Maybe I had to get on eBay and win them on auction. Keeping track of that stuff, being able to bid on it all the time, that takes effort. So I don't know. I don't know if I want to sell that stuff. Like it's part of my personal collection. I always said anything in my personal collection will not be touched.
Yeah, you collected the turtles. Do you have any turtles now?
Yeah, I got a shoot, man. I got in that living room. I got an entire wall of turtle figures. Upstairs bedroom, I have an entire wall. One side of the wall, entire plaster with turtle figures. Downstairs, I have a couple shelves with loose figures displayed. So, and then at the other side of the room, I've got another couple shelves with carded pieces, but they're just kind of scattered because I don't know what to do with them.
Mm-hmm.
Like I went onto the Mattel website, and I bought like the bus and the sewer and the Technodrome.
Oh.
I actually opened up the Technodrome and tried to build that thing. That thing took me like 3 or 4 hours to build. I couldn't figure the sucker out. I had to get on YouTube and watch like a 40-minute video because I couldn't figure it out myself. So every few seconds, I'm pausing. So imagine watching a 40-second or 40-minute video and having to pause like every few seconds
Yeah, it'd take me
because,
hours.
like, literally, I have to like pull out each sticker and track down exactly where it is on this Technodrome where these stickers go, or to put down where this sewer top goes, or where these guns are supposed to be staged or whatever, or where these turrets are supposed to be going or something like that, right? So I'm not good with directions on those damn things. I couldn't figure it out myself. So I had to watch this YouTube video of this guy setting up the darn Technodrome, and I'm like, oh, this is so annoying.
I guess you weren't the only one. If somebody made a YouTube video on it, right?
Yeah.
You wouldn't make a
But
YouTube video on something that was easy to put together.
but the bus and the sewer playset, I'm like, I'm not even opening this sucker out of the box. I'm like, after that Technodrome, I'm like, I'm not doing this. Forget it. that just took too damn long, and I don't have the patience to do that crap again.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, so those are new toys because you're saying you bought them from Mattel, and like
yeah.
you mentioned, I kind of forgot that Playmates just lost the license after 40 years. Wow. But a lot of your turtles are the original ones from 40 years ago, I guess it'd be, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's some that is mixed in there that might be new. Problem is, with so many remakes,
Yeah.
you look at them, you can't really tell if they're 1980s or if they're 2020s. But I have to assume a lot of them are 1980s, 1990s
Mm-hmm.
originals.
Unbelievable, pal.
Mhm.
Yeah, it has to be pal. Vince says pal a lot. I think I might. I don't think I'll buy any though. I can't. It's hard enough. I'm sad that I bought some grapplers and gimmicks now because I don't want to start collecting those. But I have to be mindful of what I buy, I think. But it'd be kind of fun to look those up and just to see those mint cards that you remember you have as a kid. Mask, are there any mint mask out there? Mask is probably even lower down the totem pole. But I remember having a few of those. But I think it was just because the figures, if I remember correctly, were a lot smaller than the other ones. The scale was a lot smaller, if I remember correctly. So they were kind of fun to play with. It's just a different scale, like Micro Machine kind of scale. I don't remember Micro Machines. Do they still sell? There are probably some mint on card Micro Machines out there too from 30, 40 years ago. See, I started thinking of all these things I had as a kid. I just wanted to see, because like I'm thinking, who are these people that kept the mint on card? Were they all just stores? Like it's just amazing that 40 years later they're still mint on card. Like, wow, that's dedication, right? I couldn't do it.
I mean, hey, look at my toys when I was a kid. I mean, there's a lot of packages I never opened when I was a kid.
Really? I think I had 0 packages I didn't open as a kid. You open them. I mean, they didn't make it past like Christmas or my birthday, right? Like you open the package and you unwrapping the present and the package is open. A buddy of mine said the same thing, but it was just because he wasn't into Star Wars, and apparently his family kept buying him Star Wars figs, from like the original trilogy, and so he's got them somewhere unopened. I'm like, maybe that's where some of this comes from, but who's supplying all of them? Because there's a lot of carded, you name it, that are 40 plus years old, and like, well, who kept all these? Who are these crazy
But
kids opening their toys?
you know what I would have loved to have kept? There was this TV show that was kind of like a Power Rangers ripoff of sorts. Big Bad Beetleborgs.
That sounds familiar. And they had toys, right?
And yeah, it aired on Fox Kids.
I mean,
So
honestly,
yeah,
most of those cartoons and stuff as kids were just vehicles from selling you figures and stuff, right? It wasn't about the TV shows like, hey, how can we get kids to buy more action figures? I know, let's come up with a cartoon, and then they'll buy them.
yeah, but big
I didn't know.
so Fox Kids, they had like I said, they had all the superhero
A lot of
shows.
good stuff.
They had Power Rangers, they had VR Troopers, Masked Rider, Mystic Knights of Tir Noog, they had Young Hercules, and they had Big Bad Beetleborgs, and later on Beetleborgs Metallics. And this was such, and big Beetleborgs, I didn't have a lot of figures, but there is one playset that I had, which was the Monsters Mansion, and with that mansion came the 5 monsters. The werewolf, the zombie, or not the zombie, the werewolf, the Frankenstein, the mummy, the vampire, and who am I missing?
Salesman.
The Flabber. Flabber, who was like a ghostly Jay Leno, Elvis-looking character.
Wow, that's an interesting. Did he collect cars and stuff and do late night talk shows and things? If only I could do a Jalen voice. Oh, what's this mansion about? I can't do that. Interesting description of that last character.
It's weird because I still actually have the original 5 monster figures from that playset, but I have no idea whatever happened to the actual mansion playset itself. But if you I don't know if that even exists in the world anymore, but imagine if that playset was still new in box. That darn thing would probably be selling on eBay for like $500. But I want that sucker. Why? Only for the sake of argument that I had it as a kid and I want it today, just because.
And you got the figures, so it's kind of like you want to complete the set.
But problem is, if I bought one that was unopened, I wouldn't want to open that sucker. So I'd have to buy one that was a whole lot cheaper, that was already opened, that I can probably stage and build up and, display somewhere.
Mm-hmm. And then buy one unopened to keep mint in box.
Now, I mean, I would want one that came with its original packaging, but I wouldn't want to, have one that's open. I mean, that's closed. Like I'd actually want to open it and actually display it. But I did watch Batman animated series. The difficult part about that is that show used to air the same time as I think Gargoyles.
You like that?
So you had to kind of decide which one you wanted to watch.
Oh man.
Were you watching Gargoyles this day, or are you gonna watch Batman? So, but they aired like every single day of the week, so it was really hard. Like I always watched Batman, but my friend, I think we were in like 3rd grade or something at the time. Like he watched Gargoyles, and I went over to his apartment one day, and I asked him to put on Batman, and he's like, "No, man, I watch Gargoyles." I'm like,
F you, buddy. We're watching Gargoyles in this house.
Like I didn't know what the hell Gargoyles was. I'd never watched Gargoyles before, but I watched that episode with him. I'm like, this is a great show. So I became a fan of Gargoyles after that.
Now what?
But I mean, I think I saw all the Batman animated shows anyways. So going back and being able to watch all the Gargoyles, another fantastic animated series, one of the best.
Are they streaming anywhere? Can you catch up?
My wife and I did start watching that, about a month or 2 ago, and I think it was on Amazon or Hulu or something.
Gargoyles?
Yeah. So I think they have the whole series on there.
Offered you $10 for them? Jeez. You were born yesterday. Trying to sneak it by you.
All right. I think I'm going to cash it in for tonight, guys.
Only 2 more hours. A lot of old shows and reminiscing old toys. And I think I will spend some time on eBay tonight, probably messing around just to see. I'm not going to buy them though. I don't want to start collecting mint on card, but I'm just curious to see who has what kind of shape they're in, what do they look like, and then it'll be like my going back in time, reminisce about. Oh yeah, I remember having this mint on card He-Man figures. I have to look up that one figure I'm thinking of because I don't remember them. I love the Skeletor memes. So they would be kind of neat to have a Skeletor figure again. I know I had at least one. I don't know if they had a lot of variants back then. They probably had multiple Skeletor figures.
Hey, Skeletor was one of my best soldiers in my play as a kid for my wrestling figure because I didn't have a lot of Hasbros and Gloops, so you had to use whatever was available that you could utilize as a wrestling figure, right?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know his name as Panthro, so I just simply called him Thundercat.
Oh,
but
we didn't talk a lot about
Panthro was like one of my most used wrestling figures.
Okay.
So I use Panthro, I use Skeletor, the football player from Ghostbusters. I use that a lot.
Good thing.
As a wrestling figure. Occasionally I use the werewolf figure from Ghostbusters as a wrestling figure, but I mean there's a few Thundercat figures that I used. I think Jackal something. Jackalman, I think his name was, or something like that.
Jack-o'-lantern? No, that'd be too punny.
Jackal something. I think his name was Jackalman. But the big brown cat, I used that one with the yellow stomach. I used that guy. And then there's the one that looks like a lion or something, like the long bear arms or whatever. I used that one occasionally.
I wrestled a lot with my GI Joes. I never did war much. You know how you play war? Those little green army figures you play war with a bit because
Yeah.
that's all they do and they could move. But my GI Joes, I never did traditional good versus evil war type stuff. I always wrestled with them because they were just so movable, right? Especially as a kid. It's funny that I make fun of the elites because I don't like all the articulation, but I don't know. The GI Joes were perfect as a kid. They held up for a while, though. I broke many a rubber band, and I'm like, oh no, he's in half now. What do I do? But they were fun to play with. Give the people what they want. I don't think so. Giving the people what they want. Hey, Chris, did I miss someone? Oh, there's Chris. Yeah, okay. Panther was awesome. Yeah. Yeah, we didn't even really mention Thundercats or Voltron. I remember having the Voltron thing just to put, so you can put them together, take them apart. I don't remember playing with them a lot other than putting them together and taking them apart. The Voltron set. Man, I had a small fortune just in toys as a kid, didn't I? I lived a sheltered life.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting to talk about that the Peter situation tonight, but I mean I'm glad though that I was able to address it a little bit. I don't know if it was satisfactory for for the viewers or not. Hopefully they can at least appreciate where I'm coming from on that end.
Yeah, I think
Why
they're looking out for you and your business, and maybe they're excited to buy the figures and they want to make sure it succeeds.
Yeah, and at least they can understand why I don't want to jump to conclusions or whatnot. Make accusations based on one video. I'm not prepared to call the guy a creep over what I perceive to be a bonehead comment. I just think it was a piss poor choice of words. I don't think he intended it to be any sort of negative sort of way. I just think he was trying to be a heel bad guy, and he just said the wrong thing.
He's doing heel work.
Yeah, I don't think he realized what he said.
I do wonder if modern wrestler, if heels from the 70s and 80s, if they could get away with some of the things they said. Like, how would an Iron Sheik gimmick work nowadays? Well, I guess Slaughter's gimmick was pretty recent. That was pretty ballsy of Slaughter because that was right after. Was that the second war? That was the first war, wasn't it? That was still a modern, him like doing a turncoat when he was like Yo Joe, G.I. Joe Sergeant Slaughter. That was pretty ballsy. And I think his family did say he got death threats doing that gimmick, but fair play to him. Yeah. I don't know if I could do that kind of gimmick nowadays to draw heat. Yeah, I mean it could be, and it just gimmicks.
Thank you, Galena.
Gimmicks and drawing heat are a little different nowadays, especially because we're all willingly and sometimes unwillingly on tape, camera, image, whatever, right? Social media, our phones are connected 24/7, 365. You can catch anyone saying anything. Like I think Bum said earlier, and I know a lot of us have that sentiment. Luckily, as a kid, we didn't have cell phones that we could record all the dumb shit we did and post it to TikTok or Facebook or whatever the kids do nowadays. I think kids still don't get that. Some young kids still don't realize when they put it out on the internet. Good luck getting that back. It's not coming back. Once it's on the internet, that spreads like wildfire. So luckily, I didn't have to grow up with that. Plus, also, I think growing up with a cell phone would have been a major distraction at school. I don't know if I would have gotten straight A's. I think I would have suffered. I wonder how kids are doing nowadays with that. I don't know. I don't have any kids, so I don't know how bad that's happening, but that's got to impact you a little bit. That's got to be distracting. I don't know if a lot of schools have a no cell phone policy anymore, if they can even do that. Yeah, having the internet, if I grew up with on the internet, that might have been bad. Luckily, I think I was junior high or high school before we got internet. It was pretty late. Luckily. I figured I was at the sweet spot because I profit off the internet. I work in IT, but I was old enough that we didn't have constant internet yet, so I could still do my schooling, right? And learn how to control computers and stuff. But yeah. But then I'll probably miss the next century. So will I miss flying cars finally and jetpacks and all that stuff that we were promised when we watched the Jetsons and all that? I don't know about a flying car. I've seen people drive on the road. I'm not sure I would trust them in the air. Right? Can you imagine?
1950s, that's exactly what they thought the year 2000 was going to be, like the Jetsons with flying cars and stuff. I'm like, what happened to that?
We were so close. But like I said, would you trust some of the people I know you know what I'm talking about. You've ran into people who can't drive on the road. Now imagine them in the air. Ooh, boy.
Mm.
I'm not sure I want to trust myself in the air. Yeah. Oh, I didn't get a pager. I think until my first job. We actually had pager duty, right? Because you're on call. That was the only time I ever had a pager. And then finally they're like, well, everyone has a cell phone. Do we need pagers now? Can't you just call me on a cell phone? I'm like, yep, right. We'll get rid of cell phones.
Peeper.
Or pagers. Beeper. Beeper? Did you mean beeper or peeper? Beeper could mean something else, couldn't it? But yeah, I don't know how kids do it
Pager,
nowadays.
pager/beeper. Peeper.
Oh yeah, okay, there you go. That makes sense. Pager, beeper, peeper. Reminds me of 30 Rock. I think there was a character. Well, he does which insurance company does he do? Mayhem? Allstate, I think it is. He was a character on 30 Rock, and everyone at this was a modern show, and he was trying to start a beeper service. He thought they were coming back. They were making a comeback. I forget what the shtick was, but that was the kind of character he was. They're like, no, everyone's got cell phones, man. People don't even use cell phones as cell phones anymore. Why would they want to use a beeper? Oh, Waddy's Bum's trying to undress us.
There you go.
Well, okay, I guess. No, I'm just kidding. Hellfire Club. You were
Hey,
talking
good
about
show.
it the
There
other
you
day.
go.
So you were talking about the different characters and stuff, and this was close to my, today's closet. So I'm like, oh, that sounds kind of fun. I'll do the Hellfire Club. I still need to see the last season of Stranger Things, though.
You know, to
Yeah,
this
they
day,
were.
I still don't freaking know how the damn pager worked. Like, I assume you call a pager number and you type in your phone number or something, but like, I grew up with pagers, and I don't think I ever used a pager or called a pager in a day in my life. How weird is that?
Yeah, like I said, it was only my first real IT job. It was still new enough that not everyone necessarily had a cell phone, and we had on call, usually for a week, if anything happened in production. Your website's down at 2 a.m. They need somebody to hopefully bring it back up. They paid you on your pager, and then you could call. But then as soon as everybody started getting cell phones, like, yeah, we really don't need this anymore. You can just call us on our cell phone.
I still do want to know how they work.
Yeah, I don't know if it uses the same network. That's a good question. Because it's really small data. If you realize, I don't know the whole history of it, but like SMS texting, I think originally started as just like a debugging part of the cell network. It was never intended to be a feature. And then everybody started using it. And then companies started saying, hey, maybe we can sell text messages to the masses. It was never supposed to be a thing. Text messaging wasn't. Do they still beefaroni for dinner? Yeah, I got into the Apple. Well, so what happened is I got an Android first because they were cheaper, and then of course, if you're a computer person, you're your family's computer person now for everything, right? And my dad was, well, I should get a cell phone, and he got a Droid too. And I mean, legitimately, Apples are easier to use. So after I got that experience, I'm like, let me try Apple. So then I got him an iPhone, and then I needed to get an iPhone so I could tell him what it was doing. And then I haven't looked back. I've just stuck with Apple since then. Nothing against Android. You can tinker a lot with an Android because every once in a while, iPhone will come out with something like, "Yeah, Android's had that for 5 years." You make do.
Well, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't go that far about trading the phone, but I actually wouldn't mind going on to like eBay or something to see if I could find like an old pager just for cheap. Not to use it. I just want a pager just to have, like I see Jason, like he buys like the most random items, like 80s items. Like he'll buy a 1980s box of dryer pads or something. Dryer sheets.
Yeah. Why?
Like he'll locate a box of 1980s dryer sheets and he'll put it on his 1980s shelf of 1980s stuff. But like when I say bunch of random stuff, like that's what he does. He's a vintage 1980s guy, so he buys 1980s memorabilia.
That's interesting.
So that's kind of like what I want. Like I want just a pager, just kind of have, not to turn on and use or anything. Just because I just want to hold a pager in my hand. I mean, I've had pagers, again, not my own. Like it might have been my brother's pager, my sister's pager, etc. But I've held a pager. I know what it feels like, right? But it would just be nice to kind of have that oddity as part of that part of the home.
I mean, I think it was really just they text you the number to call them back on. It was kind of like texting. I don't know if it used SMS, but it really was. They just text you the number to call them back on. Usually, you recognize it as the 1-800-IT help desk when I got paged. I'm like, oh crap, something's broken.
Mhm.
Call them back, like, oh yeah, this is whoop-de-doo from the help desk, and blah 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 is broken, and we need you to fix it at 2 in the morning. You're like, oh, it's not. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. Oh yeah, did you get any money from that, Chris? I didn't put that together until he said dryer sheets. I used some of your sheets actually in my dryer. In fact, I was going to do a little. Yeah, did you say what you're drinking? You showed us some hot, didn't you? I already forgot though. I'm drinking tea. I'm not actually drinking. I'm just drinking some hot tea.
This one was Burnett's cherry vodka.
Cherry flavored vodka. Does it actually taste like cherries?
It does.
I forgot. I got that orange Irish whiskey I haven't drank.
Man, this is a 60 proof, so that's why my head's been freaking spinning since like 30 minutes in.
It's sweet enough though that you can. Well, I think you've drank more than you expected you were going to drink, but it's still low enough proof. Well, that could be dangerous, right? You can drink more. You're like, oh, it's only 30%, and it doesn't taste alcoholic because it's got cherry flavoring in it too. So
You might as well drink Scope.
Scope. Oh man, yeah. Jump in the sheets. Let's talk about. Oh, yeah, probably bottom shelf. It's a plastic bottle, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's usually a sign, isn't it? Though even Jim Beam has a plastic bottle, so I don't. Though I'm not saying Jim Beam's top shelf, but maybe it's second on itself. I mean, it's mass produced.
I mean, it's just cherry vodka, and as long as I wasn't paying $50 for vodka, I mean, I don't care.
Yeah,
I don't know how much this costs. Like, it could have been $20 or something. If it was affordable, that works for me.
Well, I'm not a vodka connoisseur, but honestly, I don't understand premium vodka anyways. Is that really a thing? I guess vodka is supposed to not have a taste from what I gather, because I'm not into the clear liquids. But would you pay extra for a vodka? Like, you're paying for aging, like in some of the whiskeys and definitely the scotches. It's all about, oh, I got 75-year, whatever. Talk about your expensive. If you had a 40-year scotch, that'd be more expensive than some of those men on card figures. But for vodka, I don't know. People are like, oh yeah, Grey Goose is the best, and blah blah blah. I'm like, yeah, is it? It's just vodka, right? I mean, I kind of poo-poo vodka. Do they age vodka at all? I don't even know. I know tequila.
I would assume they age everything, don't they? Shoot.
I don't know. Like I said, I don't like vodka, and gin's worse. I'm just not into clear liquids. I don't even really like tequila that much. But yeah,
this
and if it tastes good, right, Ross? If it's cherry flavored, that sounds pretty good. I like cherries.
This October, man, I'm thinking about heading down to Chicago because I want to go back to Six Flags Great America for a Fright Fest. You know, back in in late 90s, 2000s, we used to have like season passes to Great America, and we never went to Six Flags during Fright Fest ever.
Really, not even once. Even though you're a big Halloween fan.
And that's like the perfect time because we were always in school, so it's like it made no sense for us to go to Six, because you still gotta get on the highway to go to Six Flags.
Yeah, it wasn't next door to your house or anything. Yeah,
it was a drive. So, I mean, how long does it take to get from your house to Six Flags? 45 minutes, an hour, or something like that. So, maybe not an hour, but it was a drive.
You had to plan it a little.
Yeah, so I mean, you had to leave early. Especially you want to get there early in the morning when it first opens. Especially beat the crowds to get on all the darn rides. Otherwise, you're waiting for like 3 hours for each ride.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, that's my goal. I want to see if my wife will come. And I want to see if she will go with me to Fright Fest this October because I want to check. I want to go to Fright Fest.
Because I assume, do the people dress up and they try to scare you and they dress up the rides a bit? And
never been. I have no idea, but I assume it's I assume it's going to be like like you said. Maybe some dress up, maybe some horror themes or whatnot going on.
If you want to get scared, even maybe as an adult, it scared me as a kid. I haven't been back as an adult, but we lived in Missouri and near some caves. Well, there's a lot of caves in Missouri, more than I expect. But I think it was high school kids, or whatever, and maybe it's to raise money. I don't even remember the shtick. But for Halloween, they'd play a haunted cave. Caves are already kind of scary a little bit. But then to go into a haunted cave where they're dressed up and they're scaring you too, man, that's one of the most scary things I ever did in Halloween. Haunted caves. Ooh.
Hey, Glenn, if you're asking about Elle, no, we just met on YouTube. sometime last year.
Oh, I couldn't tell. I thought maybe Galena was talking about Ross too, because they were talking about Burnett's. But either way, you didn't go to school with Ross either, I assume.
No. And for Ross,
he's talking about Burnett's.
I think are you in like the Maryland area? Because I know they closed one in
40
was
years.
it Nottingham or close to somewhere close to Baltimore? The Six Flags in Baltimore.
40 years. Did Mattel get the contract? Because that just happened to Playmates too. We'll just call back to the Turtles. Teenage Mutant Tootin'.
Hey babe,
Good theme song
Ross
too.
says they got a haunted hayride. That should be pretty fun.
Oh, you working on it now, huh?
You want to go to the haunted hayride?
Start now.
Six Flags.
Oh,
She's like, no.
Yeah, but due to inflation, it's now 7 flags. What, 5 flags, and then you round up in Maryland. Yeah. Are people not going to or what'd you say, like amusement parks and stuff as much as they used to, or is it just an older one? Well, 40 years, that is decently old.
and COVID killed.
I don't think so.
Well,
Not Great America, man. Because
it's not great.
actually, is Chicago like the only place that calls it Great America?
That's a good question. Didn't there used to be one maybe in St. Louis or something? That's a good question. I don't know, because I think it's all owned by one company now, so I don't know if they just kept the name.
Because to me, it's always been Six Flags Great America.
Yeah.
But like you go anywhere else, it's Six Flags over St. Louis, or it's Six Flags over San Antonio, but it's never Six Flags Great America. Like,
yeah,
it is literally only a Chicago thing. I'm like, why is that?
Okay.
But it's his asshole.
But yeah, you're right. Or like if you're at Denny's, it's a Six Flags over Miami. Probably nobody goes to Denny's gets that joke.
$45, and now it's triple. Jesus.
Oh my gosh. Is that
and
why?
That was for for a season pass.
That's why people aren't going anymore. They're like, whoa, screw that noise.
So $135. Well, that's the problem. It's for families, right? So imagine, like, let's say it was just my mom, right? And let's say, okay, it's my mom, and she's paying for, let's say at the time it was my grandmother. Okay, so it's my mom at the time, my grandma, my older sister Connie, my older brother Richard, myself, my younger sister Pam, my younger brother John.
Oh my gosh!
That's 7 of us.
Wow, ooh, man.
Even after my grandma died, that's still 6 people. So imagine $50 per ticket for 6 people, $300. My family wasn't wealthy, so $300. Even if you're saying, okay, this is a season pass, you can show up as many times as you want. $300 is still a lot of money and you may only go literally one time, and that's it.
And that's $300 up front that you have to come up with too, right? For some people, it's not as easy to do.
Maybe you go a second time at some point during the summer, but that's it. Like, I don't think we went more than twice in any specific summer.
Yeah.
And once school started, it's not like we went at any point during the school year. So once school popped back up, that was it. We weren't going back to the Six Flags on weekends or anything like that.
Okay. Plus, then you have to drive, and then if you go there, you probably pay for food and drink and stuff. That's not included. Yeah, Glenn was saying, did we miss that? Is your wife's birthday or pretty soon?
Not until September.
Oh.
Tomorrow we're gonna have our 21st wedding anniversary.
That's what it is. 21. Your wedding, your marriage can finally drink. I don't know how that works. And so that means Fox is also 21 then, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Fox can now drink too. Pour one out for little Fox. Well, that's okay.
Oh, you're good.
No, that's an important milestone. No, you heard something right. I forgot. A lot of birthdays here in February. Your birthday's for February. I think we talked about some family birthdays in March, and then wedding anniversary in March. Fox's birthday in March. A lot of February and March celebrations.
Absolutely.
Michael Jordan was born in February for all you Michael Jordan fans. I always looked because I was also born in February, so I always look around. And so was my dad too, actually, and my uncle. And then my niece was born in March. Yeah, a lot of birthdays, like I say. But I always look around like, who all was born on my birthday or close to it, and like, oh, Uncle Jordan, that's cool. I like him. I like the Bulls.
Did I ever see a notification of your birthday? You said your birthday was in February?
Yeah, I don't think I published it in Facebook. Whatever. I always get a little nervous about that.
Hmm.
Because then I also in Facebook you have to say hey thank you to like 75 different people, some of which you're not really friends
Oh,
with your Facebook friends,
21 years, but don't
Ooh,
worry, we'll get to 25 as long as I stay alive.
would that be Aquarius? What's that? I remember I used to know. I think actually I'm on a cutoff. When is Aquarius? I don't know my what do you call it again? You're not astrology. What is the date? Oh, there's a horoscope.com. Oh, I was gonna register that. No, I want the
I know
date.
I'm a Pisces, so I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know about anybody else.
I'm just inside the Aquarius cutoff. Yep. Are you Pisces?
Hmm.
You were born before.
19th February.
Oh, okay. Which is, I think, Michael Jordan's actual birthday. So you're Michael Jordan.
His
Why
is
didn't
the
you go into
17th.
basketball? Why didn't you? Or was his the 17th? Am I getting that
Yeah,
wrong?
his is the 17th.
Oh,
Hmm.
close enough. Yeah, apparently I just made it. I'm just made it to Aquarius instead of Pisces. Is that the next one? Does that mean anything? I don't know. I don't know my horoscope stuff.
Yeah.
I used to be a thing though in the paper. It was kind of fun. You read. It's kind of maybe glorified fortune cookies, but you'd read like, "Oh, today you will wear something with black on it and have a cookie or something." You're like, "Oh, great, thanks, paper." No, I'd be better than that. Obviously, clearly, I've never written horoscopes. Not very good at it. So it's the 17th. Ah, so close enough. See, you're too better than Michael. You should be better at basketball than Michael. You were born 2 days after him. Is that how that works? That probably isn't. Probably
Crazy,
isn't.
man. All right, folks. My back is starting to kill me, and you know what? The
People
boy,
tell me
he
about my
sleeps.
face all the time. That's killing them.
The
So
boy
that's
sleeps on
never.
my lap at night,
Oh,
and because I'm sleeping on my back the entire night, I can't like me. I like to turn right. I like to like be able to sleep on my side and then flip over, sleep on the other side, then sleep on my back. I can't just stay on my back all night or sleep on my side all night, or like my wife, she'll stay on her stomach the whole night. I'm like, I can't do that. Like I gotta move positions. I can't be one position the entire time. So Fox, he'll sleep on my lap the entire night,
oh, you
and
can't move. Yeah.
I wake up and I'm like, my freaking back is killing me. Now, last year when I threw my back out, like I was in extreme excruciating pain for like 2 months straight. Like my wife actually had to buy me a cane because it was so hard to move around. Um, I literally became immobile. And I looked like an 85-year-old decrepit old man because I literally could not move. Uh,
Oh, man.
it wasn't that bad, but the pain
But
is
you needed
definitely
a
getting
cane.
there. And now just kind of like sitting straight up, for like the last 3/4 hours, man. I feel the pain kicking in again. So I am going to cash it in right now because I got to start stretching out my back right now. And before it gets way too out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta be cane.
No,
It's
I still have, I still have pain, but luckily it wasn't like, it's not the sort of pain like I had last year. Like I said, that right there was unbearable.
Did it
That
just go
was,
away, or did you have to do something? Or did it just finally go away? Did your back finally heal
I
itself?
mean, it took about I'd say about 2 months before the pain finally went away, but I mean, I've taken a lot of pain medicine for that, like,
Okay.
consistently, but I don't think that was really doing anything for me, but, like, I just think the pain just, gradually went away over time,
Because backs are so
but,
shaky. Sometimes people can suffer back injuries for a while. Pull a
yeah,
muscle
and
cord.
I just think like I said, I mean, the pain medicine I was taking, I just think that stuff just maybe it helped a little bit, but, like, I didn't feel a lot of, like, I might be popping, like, 800 milligrams ibuprofen, a couple hours later, I might take another, couple 800 or
Ooh,
one, like, I don't think I could take any more than one at a time, like,
that sounds
every
like
4
a lot.
hours or so.
I don't know my ibuprofen dosage, but that sounds like a lot.
Yeah. I mean, or, then you take, like, over-the-counter stuff, like, aspirin or Advil or something like that, but my wife had some, what do you call it, muscle relaxers. I'm not sure what the name of that
Okay.
medicine is, but
Yeah.
She gave me medicine for that for my pain, and that I don't know if that necessarily did any benefit for me,
I took
but
one
I just
once for.
think the pain went away gradually over time. But like I said, I threw my back out in the past, and pain went away after about 2 or 3 days. This took two
Later.
months.
Yeah.
Like I had no idea why it took so freaking long. And when I say you could barely move, like I knew what it felt like for people to be in a wheelchair, like not being able to move your hips at all, because that was, like I said, that was crazy.
It was painful.
But
Yeah, backs are so important when you have any kind of small back pain. It can really mess you up. But I had a muscle relaxer. I think I still have it somewhere because I went to the doctor just to make sure, one of those doc in the boxes, just to make sure it wasn't something more serious. Is it just a muscle or is it like a kidney or something? I want to make sure. Like, no, it's probably muscle. We'll give you a muscle relaxer. And I think she said, the doctor said something about icy hot or there's some other stuff if it got worse. But I took the muscle relaxer for a little bit, maybe a week, and it was gone. And I've never had to take it since. So not as bad as you. I didn't throw it out, but it almost felt like a muscle seizing. It did feel like a muscle in my back
yeah,
was being silly. So clear it wasn't as bad as yours because I've had one where you couldn't go from side to side real well. It's like my back got locked either left or right, and like, oh, so I'd be okay here. I could move here, we'll be okay. But at a certain point, I get to this point here where it'd be very painful, and then if you get past it, you're okay. It's very strange. I don't know if that was a golf injury or what. It was very weird. But the back is so important that I couldn't imagine having back pain all the time.
hey Galena, no, I ETS out of the army back in May of 2010,
What'd you say?
and
ETS? What was the word?
ATS
ATS?
ETS.
What's that?
What the hell did ETS stand for? Entry, or I
Well, yeah,
forget what the hell I forgot what it stood for, but
and what
it just
all those? Yeah.
it just basically means your contract is up or something, and you're out, bam, you're out of the army.
You could have re-upped though if you wanted to, but you're ready to go. Was it one of
I
those
like
things?
it's funny. I can remember ELS, entry level separation.
Oh, there you go.
Like that stay. I don't know why that stays in my head, because there were a lot of soldiers quotation that was giving up in basic training. Because
Oh,
I went to Fort Benning,
yeah.
and Fort Benning was an all male basic training, and there were guys that were giving up on day one.
Mm,
And it's funny as hell. Like the drill sergeants would show up on day one. Like this is when we actually made it to our units, what they call a downrange or whatever. So we're not talking about going through your medical and all that stuff. This is when you actually pass your PT test and everything, and then you get assigned to your unit, your company, your platoon, whatever you want to, all that.
yeah. Yep.
If there anyone here that doesn't want to be here, essentially,
Oh,
like I forgot exactly how they word it, but that's basically what they were doing. So and so raises their hand, and they're basically referred to as the quitters. They're day one quitters, and you have this many people that did that. Guess what? The army, you sign a contract that they don't have to release you out of the army if they don't want to. But at the same time, they're gonna look at you like, hey, we don't want a bunch of punks here either. If you're quitting on us day one of training, what are you gonna be like in a battlefield, essentially?
mm-hmm.
So they basically made these guys the bitch crew, for lack of a better term. They did not separate them from the army that day or that week, next week. No, they kept them there the entire 9 weeks we went through training.
Oh,
And they were in charge of, like, when we went to the range, they were in the ammunition shed. They were loading up magazines, doing stuff like that. So when we say bitch crew, they were actually put to work and stuff. So they were never doing training or anything like that. They were doing
okay.
they were doing manual labor, stuff like that, whatnot.
Yeah. So the army is going to make him fulfill that boot camp requirement or whatever, but they weren't going to get trained, and then they'd bounce him at the end.
Yeah, and I think they did some training here and there, but it's not like it was going to affect them, because they were still going to get booted at some point. So on
Mm-hmm.
graduation day, when we graduated, we went with our families and everything. The next day, we went to the airport. Yeah, we had our orders, and we were getting assigned to our next duty station. So it was a direct plane ticket from Fort Benning in Columbus, Georgia, to wherever Fort Lee was. I think that was Petersburg, Virginia, or something. And those guys that were ELS, entry level separation, they were also kicked out. Got their uh, less than honorable discharge or dishonorable, whatever it was. Probably less than honorable, or no, they probably got a general discharge, and that was it for them. So while we were all going to our next duty station, AIT, they were going home.
Yeah.
So they thought by quitting that they were going to be separated right then and there, and they still had to stick around the full 9 weeks. I'm like, dude, at this point, you might as well just stayed here, went through the training, moved on to AIT, where things were so much easier than basic training, and your life would have been so much better. By the time you got finished AIT, depending on how long your AIT was, like mine was 13 weeks, maybe their AIT was, maybe they worked in the laundry room and their AIT was 5 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
If they could have gone to school for 5 weeks and then been to a duty station,
Mm-hmm.
and they would have been full-fledged soldiers,
Yeah.
You gave up a great career, great opportunity. Like, why? For what?
And on day one, had they experienced much yet to say this wasn't for me? Because you're saying some of these people would quit on day one, right?
Yeah, and again, when you first arrive, you arrive to 21st AG, and they send you to some barracks wherever, and you learn the Army song cadence and all this stuff.
Okay.
You go to like medical and dental. You get your military uniforms and all this other stuff. You get your PT. You go. You learn all about this different stuff. You set up your bank accounts. Things of that nature. So you're there for about a week, going through all this orientation type of stuff, and then at the end, you have to pass a PT test. Once you pass the PT test, after that, they send you again what they quote call downrange, and that means that they're sending you to your unit that you're gonna be part of for the next 9 weeks. So when they say Army basic training is 9 weeks, reality it's more like 10 weeks if you include that
first
initial process in processing.
But that first week doesn't sound like it's too bad, is it?
Not really.
So that wouldn't cause you to quit yet, would it? I guess maybe they didn't realize being away from home or something. I don't know. It's interesting. So that was the ELS.
And ETS,
whatever it stands for. Probably the
I
separation.
can't remember what the hell that sucker stands for. Jesus, it's driving me nuts.
I assume that's probably separation once again, but it means something else.
Yeah, ETS just is it's your separation from the Army, but that usually means your contract is up.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I was gonna stop at like 2 hours, and I was gonna stop at like 2.5 hours. So now that we're like 7 minutes away, I guess we're gonna stop at 3 hours.
I was wondering if you're gonna say, "Oh, we gotta round up." So did you decide you'd had enough of the Army? Could you have re-upped if you wanted to when you left? Was it one of those kind of deals where you're like, "Well, okay, I had enough."
Well, here's the thing. I mean, multiple combat deployments, and I kept seeing what everybody else kept seeing. Every time we go on combat deployment, we kept looking at all these government contractors making $100,000+, and we're like thinking, "Damn, why are we working our asses off for $2,000 a month when these contractors are making 6 figures?" Like, jealous.
Yeah,
we all want to make that type of money. So if we get out of the Army, we want to get their jobs and make that type of money. And it's a shame is because a lot of soldiers are like pissed off and angry at the government contractors, but at the same time, you also got to look at it from this point of view. Government contractors, they don't have to be there. The soldiers do. They have no choice. This is what you signed up for.
Mm-hmm.
We signed up to go to war.
Yeah.
They're government contractors, they're civilians. They can go home at any time. They're still putting their lives on line the same way, kind of. They may not be going on missions the same way as the soldiers, but they're still in a combat zone regardless.
Mm-hmm.
So you gotta entice these civilians to come to a war zone, and that means higher wages.
Money and benefits and
Yeah.
that sort of thing.
You can't pay them $2,000-3,000 a month and think that you're going to get them to come work for you when they can make that type of money stateside. It just makes no sense. Also, they're doing a lot of the work for the soldiers so that the soldiers can focus on the mission itself.
Okay.
So, I mean, we were still doing our work, so it's not like, the civilians that we had were doing all the work for us. Like, we worked the warehouse, and later on, we got civilians that can help us with the SSA, but we were still processing Air Force pallets full of of stock that just came in. We were still processing MROs and stuff like that. So, our second deployment, our unit ran the entire base. So we ran the hangar. We were in charge of incoming and outgoing flights.
Mm-hmm.
We ran the class 1 yards. We were in charge of all the food and water. We ran the SSA, so the warehouse, so all the supplies in and out. We ran the DFAC and the gym and all that stuff. Plus, we were in charge of running all the missions. We were in charge of getting all that stuff to the teams, the SF teams, and all that. It would have been awesome as a soldier to actually kind of work in conjunction and support the SF teams like directly, but
Special Forces, you're saying? SF Special
yeah,
Forces?
the only time I ever worked for Special Forces is as a civilian contractor. I mean, that right there is the best job on the planet. Supporting SF, supporting teams.
Was that one? Didn't they give you like a Green Beret or something like that? Didn't you get something?
Yeah,
from Special
I got
Forces?
I got a couple of them. I can't remember if it was first group or seventh group, but one of those guys they gave me a couple berets.
Like you're an honor.
One of them gave me a green beret, and one of them gave me one of the maroon. I think it was either airborne or aerosol, probably both. One of the maroon airborne berets as well, but it's got the Special Forces emblem insignia on it, so I thought that was pretty damn cool. And I mean, as this logistician, I was in charge of ordering all this stuff. The actual supplies sergeant in charge, like he never wanted to order crap. But like, shoot, when I got there, like their site didn't have anything. I'm like, this damn thing, this is a shithole. What is this? So hell, but within about a month or two, like that damn place was just jam packed. Like I had everything. Those son of a bitches, they love my ass. And I think a lot of time when you work with the teams, they don't want to pack up a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll give you a bunch of stuff like, hey, thank you for ordering this stuff. Merry Christmas. So I got a lot of really cool guy stuff, that comes in.
Mm-hmm.
If you're ordering knives or Gerbers, whatever, roll guard belts, whatever the case might be, flashlights, issuing it out to the teams, some of the other, soldiers around base.
Right.
The supply sergeant would be like, hey, take one.
Mm.
So like they'll always issue me one as well, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, you left to go into contracting, essentially. So you still went back out then? Just you?
Yeah, I mean, I spent
instead of the army.
not nonstop. I had breaks in between where I came home for stints, but for about 12 years, I was on and off contract overseas.
Mm-hmm.
Again, not the entire 12 years straight, obviously. I mean, over a 12-year period, I probably spent 7 years, something like that, 8 years contracting overseas.
Still pretty good amount of
But
time on top of your actual military service.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but
Sounds like Bum might be doing a live stream later tonight, 11 p.m. or midnight. That gotta keep the live stream streak going, huh?
Galena, that is an excellent question. I
Oh yeah.
probably won't have time to answer that question tonight, with only a couple minutes remaining. But if you do tune in on Monday, I can definitely answer that question. So 7 p.m. on Monday Eastern time. I will definitely get to that. In fact, I will screenshot that question so that
so we don't forget.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, so I won't forget that question. Yeah, because that's a really good one.
Yeah, it is. So look for that on Monday. A little teaser.
But let's just say the one. I mean, there's a lot of. I don't want to say tragic. Yes, I will. I will say tragic. There's a lot of events. I still have PTSD to obviously a lot of trouble sleeping. That's why I still have like fluoxetine that doctor prescribes me, or I have trazodone to help me for sleep aids.
Hmm.
Other medications, of course, as well. There's one incident in particular which I'll talk about come Monday, but that's the big one that really gets me that I still think about to this day, and it's why like anytime there's like really sharp shots out, why I kind of jump from time to time, and if I'm not jumping physically, like on the inside, like my heart will really start to
Your brain and
to
heart.
race, or like your skin will start to like vibrate or something, like there's a ripple in the water or something. So I'm not going to go into too many specifics right now. I'm pretty sure a lot of people heard this story before, but I will describe it a little bit more in detail on Monday if you'd like. But
Okay.
guys, it's 10 o'clock. We've been on for 3 hours,
Made it.
and I've gone an hour more than I planned. But it's always a great live show. Definitely appreciate the conversation, even the tough ones. And Mustard, he had a lot of really good advice in this live stream. I did read every one of your comments, bud, and and believe me, I am taking it to heart because of your responses in the last couple live streams. I did obviously reach out to Peter to ask him about having the Legacy Foundation actually, kind of make some kind of advertisement for me for MRW to show that it's legit. And because of your recommendations today, I will reach out to him or reach out through the website again, maybe to their email or something, and see what I can find out some more information because, I mean, obviously I have concerns, you have concerns, and your concerns obviously are things I thought about myself. I trust that it's legit, but it doesn't mean that it's not something I'm still, thinking about. I guess people say I know I have a lot of paranoia, and you always think about these type of things regardless, especially when you're dealing with something for the first time. You want to make sure you're doing things the right way. So,
Mhm.
but I will continue to look into it and provide feedback with you guys, let you know what happens. But for now, guys, I want to say thank you for tuning in and for all the commentary. I'm gonna close it for now, guys. My back's killing me, and I'm gonna go sit down and
Get more comfortable.
hopefully that helps the back a little bit. So thank you. Good night, everyone, and see you all on Monday. Take care, everybody.